Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Hi, chat. How's it going?
Hello.
How's
I
it
hope you're doing
going?
well.
Hi, it's so nice to see everyone. Hi, Angel.
Mhm.
Hi, Tane. Thank you for joining me.
Hello.
Hello.
Of course, we're
Yeah,
happy to
yeah,
be
yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi everyone. I'm excited. This is the second time we have done sex ed and relationship advice at the VT Rainbow Bar. So I'm super, super hyped. It's so nice to see everyone. I see a lot of people from my community. I see a lot of people that I know that pop in sometimes that are from both Tanya's community and Angel's community. So it's so nice to see people. Hello, hello.
Thank you for
Hello.
coming, everybody.
Thank you for
Yeah.
inviting us to the bar.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I hope you know more about making drinks than I do, because I opened a bar, but I've never like worked as a bartender or
I
anything.
can make a
So
mean rum punch, and that's about it.
I
Oh,
mean,
very nice.
I'd try that. What is a rum punch?
It's usually like some sort of based fruit juice, like a grenadine, and then like a raspberry and pineapple or something like that,
Okay.
all mixed together. Sometimes people will just do straight up fruit punch. I like the ones that use varied
Oh.
fruit juices though, because fruit punch just tastes like Kool-Aid with alcohol, and that's not a fun time.
Oh my gosh. Sphinx, I was just about to say that. I've mixed rum and milkus before, and it actually tastes good, so I call it a rum and cum.
Rum and cum?
So
Wait,
that's what you're gonna make for us tonight?
Yeah,
Hey,
sure,
that's
sure.
Lewd.
yeah, I'll take it. What do you mean
I
that's
mean,
lewd?
kind of on brand, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
The rum. Okay, so milkus? Milkus is like the
Like the
remind
Korean,
me. The Korean milk?
it's like have you had kalpis, like the
Yeah.
Japanese drink? Or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's milkis, which is like the Korean version of it.
I always thought it was like cowpiece. I never thought of it as
Or kalpis, I don't know.
I heard cow piss, and
yeah,
I was
that's
really
what
confused. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I knew what you were
Excuse me?
talking about, but that's the first thing I heard was like piss. Wait, what? What do we?
How is it pronounced? Kalpis or kalpis? I don't know.
Uh, it's Japanese, so I would assume the e sound, right?
I get
That
maybe. I'll
that
have
would
to
be
ask
my thought,
somebody.
but I don't know. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to ask someone. I just kind of throw anything together to drink at home.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
hmm
yeah. As we do sometimes, you know. It's just like it
hmm
depends what we're doing. It's like I'll just pour some whiskey in a shot glass and take that, and I'm good. If that's the kind of night I'm in, but yeah, yeah,
hmm
yeah.
I have grown
Hey,
a
that's
weakness for
Lewd.
beer, which I know is sad sounding. I know, but I'm starting to really like lagers, and that's become my
Oh.
my go-to drink when I don't want to get really wasted. Because
hmm
I love me some rum, I love me some vodka, but in the liquor family, just I get sick very fast. I can
Oh,
do
Yeah.
like
okay.
2 drinks, and then that's a bad day.
Yeah. What comes after 69? Mouthwash? What do you mean? I'm wearing that as a badge of honor for as long as I can. Anyway, hi. Thank you. Let me go back, cuz I know there were some subs and things, so I want to say thank you. I really appreciate that. Sphinx, thank you so much for the resub for 17 months. Thank
Let's
you.
go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to see you here. Um, an anonymous gifter gifting a gift sub to Zilla. Thank you.
Let's go.
I really
Yay.
appreciate that. And uh where is it? Maze Plans or Mazy Plans? Thank you so much for the sub for 2 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really, really appreciate that. But yeah, everyone, it's so nice to see you. Normally, I try to do my best to go by and say hi to people individually, but since I do have guests over and we do want to just kind of get to the conversation, I do see you. I see your names. I love you. I appreciate you. You are wonderful. We appreciate you chatting with us, asking us questions, joining in on the discussion that we do have today.
Trans rights.
Thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate it.
I think all three of
Thank you,
us are
thank you.
actively reading chat too, so we can all
Yeah.
see
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
watching you chat.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
watching you.
So
We're
know
watching
that
you.
we are, yeah, we are seeing you. But yeah, so we don't get right back to your message every single time. It doesn't mean that we're ignoring you, we're not seeing you. It means that we're trying to carry on a conversation. Because I don't know about these two, but I have really bad ADHD, and if I stop what I'm saying, I will lose it forever. So
Yep.
yeah. But it's so nice to see everyone here. Really appreciate you being here. But I'm excited. So yeah, last week was the first time we did this. I had Freya Amari with me and Bori B.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a good time, and we chatted.
Aw.
We answered some questions. And now our forum has gotten more questions. So we are sitting here with 102 questions, which we will not
my
get through all
gosh.
of them today.
Oh
But
my
we
gosh, you
will-
guys are crazy.
yeah, last week I think we got through like 8 or 10 or something. So yeah, because rather than rush through as many as we can, we like to give them weight, because sex education is important. It's a topic that for a lot of things just can't just be answered like super quickly. So it's nice to get into discussions and explain things and yeah, do more than just like touch the surface, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Really, really sit and digest the topic rather than just, throwing it to the wind as fast as we can.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah, nice to see everyone. I'm seeing so many streamers pop in. Hi, Ivy. Nice to see you. Dora, hello. Thank you all for popping by. Yeah. All right. So, do you wanna talk about here's your pitch for why you are qualified to give sex ed or relationship advice?
I'm a succubus.
Good answer. Okay.
So I think I'm here just to balance out Tane, to be the polar opposite opinion, as someone with a very, very lack of history. I'm just the opposite side of the scale. That's it. I've been in one relationship my whole life.
We
I'm
love
still in that relationship.
Oh.
Sweats.
Yeah, we love that. We love that.
I was gonna say, so when I grew up, I went to a Catholic school.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. I was very naturally curious about a lot of things. So with the ways of the internet, I wanted to educate myself. So
As you do when you
yeah.
don't have a huge,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
a lot of resources and stuff like that. We do what we can, and a lot of the time it takes us to the internet. So
The internet is a very valid resource. Scary things may show up, but it is a valid resource.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I guess just like what Angel said, I've been in a very long-term relationship, but I've had like some I don't know, high school small romances. Or I don't
Yeah. But yeah, there's one thing I thought was funny when I was looking at like popping you two on the flyer was I have Angel and Angel and Demon.
Yep.
Essentially. That's my two guess. It's like I need to make you real small and put you on my shoulders.
yeah. Oh, should we?
Oh.
Wait.
Wait. Yeah.
Wait, I'm just under Tane's butt.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh,
Make it easier for you. There we go.
I can't see my own screen. There you go. Okay, we're good.
yeah. Oh wait, here, just a minute. Let me balance.
I am
this
on
out.
the shoulder. Hold on. I'll bring my wings out. That makes more sense. Now I look like
there we
Abel.
go.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, I'll bring my wings out too. There we go.
Yeah, this is good. Oh, your legs are so long.
Marina, don't lick those armpits. You don't know where they've been, Marina. Marina, I know what you want, but don't lick the armpits.
But I really
gonna
want
give
to.
your
They look
armpit-
so good.
I'm gonna give your armpit steppies.
When the demon on your shoulder isn't just
gosh.
encouraging, she's interacting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, look, Angel, I love you, but it's hard to say no to steppies on the armpit. Like, what am I supposed to do here?
Such a naughty armpit.
A naughty arm.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. My armpit's been so bad. How are you gonna punish it, Uwu?
Wait. Am I allowed to to leave the shoulder? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Can I
yeah,
can I
we
fly
can-
away now? On a
We can
fly.
we can return
Wee.
to
Oh, I'm returning to the heavens where we
Oh.
don't have steps on
Oh
armpits.
shoot. Okay, wait. I returned down below.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Angel,
gosh.
I need an adult. Yeah.
All right. Oh, why am I still? I'm not shy anymore. There we go.
Only shy with the steppies.
I love that though. Yeah, that was one of the things that occurred to me. I was like, oh, I have Angel and Demon as my guests. You know,
it works out, you know? Yeah.
thematically it fits. It fits. And I love how you both have like this really deep, beautiful reds like in your designs.
We have the same kind of color palette, which was
Oh,
purely
yeah.
coincidental, but I love it. I really want to get art where you and I are just transposed outfits. Because it would be
Aw.
hilarious, because I'm willing to bet people would get confused.
Oh my gosh.
I'm willing to argue it. Like, even though our hair is notably different styles and different shades of blonde, you got two blondes with red eyes. So
Aw.
I guarantee you
Yeah.
it would be kind of confusing in a fun way.
Yeah. Mint Moo.
Aw.
Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. Welcome on in, Raiders. How is it
Welcome.
going?
I love mint.
Sorry, I'm dying. I had to, of course, when I want to talk, I start coughing. Hi, we're doing a special stream. It's the second week that I'm doing my sex ed and a relationship advice stream. And I'm joined by Tony Tenshi and Angel Steps today. So it's going to be a good one. We're just getting
Hello.
started. We have a question form with questions that people have been asking us. And then we are going to try to go through as many of them as we can, you know, answer as many questions as we can, and just have some cool discussions. Some things on relationship advice, some things on general sex ed questions. But we kind of cover the spectrum of you know, what we're able to get to today. Yeah, how was your stream? I hope you had a really good stream. I see you were chatting. I hope that was fun. Let us know a bit about that. Yeah. All right. So, okay. So I mean, we have different backgrounds. I find it funny that you both came from Catholic school. You said.
Yeah,
Yep.
funny that.
Okay. What was the extent of the education there that you got with sexual education?
Oh, they didn't.
Not like literally nothing, or like.
So I left my private school in the middle of 6th grade. And we didn't have health class or anything like that at
Okay.
my school. Like I that school went from elementary to 8th, so I can guarantee you that there was no health education up to 8th grade.
Okay.
I can't speak for anything past that though, because they worked with a different school for anything past 8th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, abstinence only style. Is that what y'all got essentially? Don't
Yeah.
do it. It's bad for
Um,
you.
I don't know how it is, like, I guess in some other places in Canada, but I found that I think it's better now, but when I was in school, I guess in elementary school, they would teach us like the baby and like, you know, the woman's womb and everything like that. But I
Yeah.
was just like, how did it get there?
Storks.
Yeah.
Storks delivered the
Um,
babies.
So there was like a little bit of that. And I feel like we got a lot more of it in like high school and everything. And we did get to learn a bit of stuff like in middle school. But I find that or I guess maybe in my town, I think the Catholic schools are more progressive now. Like there's
Okay.
like LGBTQ like stuff, and they have like some youth drag shows now and everything, and that was not a thing.
Cool.
Like that was not a thing when I was in school. So I think the Catholic schools are getting more progressive.
That's not a thing where I am currently. So that's awesome to
Yeah.
hear that that's happening there.
I was really
Yeah.
happy. Like when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I've experienced extensively in the sense that I actually have taught sex ed in the public school setting.
Oh.
So I have a you know, an understanding of what that's like, at least over here in California. Oh, my model is doing the lovely V-Bridger thing it does where it disconnects. But I have
Oh.
some experience at least here in California, where sex ed is made to be very comprehensive, and it covers a lot of things. Like it covers LGBTQ and queer relationships and stuff, but it does it in a way that is integrated and not in a way that is like all right, kids, it's gay day. Like everything is just
Gay
yeah,
day.
right? Like, and they make that very clear. They're like, you can't do that. Like, you need to make sure that when you're giving examples, you cover everything.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about healthy relationships or whatever it might be, people need to talk about different, different genital combinations and different like, orientations and whatever it might be, just so that it's there and actually made to help all people and all like students with different sexual orientations, which is one of the things that I
truly
really
inclusive.
appreciate.
So it's not just like, here's all the heteronormative stuff. Now here's everything else, or like, I guess kind of, okay.
Ultimately, it's up to so here's the thing. Ultimately, it's up to the teacher, obviously. So you're gonna run into people who are just like, I don't want to teach that. I don't know how enforced it is, but it is one of the things. It is actually the only curriculum in California schools that is legally required.
Wow.
Meaning, yes. So it's actually legally required for teachers to teach all of the sex ed curriculum in its entirety. Whereas, like, if you're teaching, math or history or whatever, like, if you don't cover something, it's not like it's a problem. It's just up to the teacher's discretion. But the main thing is there to protect students from not getting information because a teacher doesn't want to teach it, kind of a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's good then. Yeah, cover everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, that's amazing. I feel like I would like to think that things are better nowadays than I guess when we were in school.
Yeah, it's been enough time that ideally things have started to progress rather than, the good old boy mentality, which is I know what most of us saw. I think we're all around the same age range, if I remember. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
I believe
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of funny too, because it's like when you're growing up queer and everything too. I feel like the only thing I had like to look at was like tattoo or like things, and I'm like, oh, girls kissing, or like,
right. That's true. That's true. Yeah, like even, I mean, I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of queer representation. It's usually like caricatures of a queer character in media. And let alone like trans representation is basically just for like comic relief, like jokes or things like that, like the few.
There's still not that much of it, honestly.
Yeah, it's true. There's still not a lot of it, and still not a lot of it actually portrayed by real trans people, real trans actors telling real trans stories, right? It's a lot of like oh hey, we should do stories about trans people, right? Let's write a story about them as cis people. It's been the same thing as like with gay people, right? Like there's been straight people writing stories for gay people and straight people playing gay people in media for how long now?
It's kind of funny too, because I feel like in middle school, I don't know if I guess it's, well, kind of on topic, I guess, but when I found out, discovered I was bisexual and everything, people were telling me too, they were like, oh, it doesn't have to be like all one side or the other side. It could be like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that kind of thing. Like, so I had like some friends who were like, I like guys more than girls, or I like girls more than guys. And I was like, oh, that's possible. Or yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that just like isn't talked about. And that's why I like to do this kind of stuff, whether it's talking about orientation or gender identity or just sexual topics in general. Like there are so many misconceptions and questions people have that they either didn't get the chance to ask or whatever it might be. So it's nice to be,
removing the
that kind of
taboo of the
person.
subject and just kind of opening up about it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited to talk about some of this stuff. If we wanna try to jump into a question.
We could.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Ready.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's nothing these questions can swing at me that I'm not ready for.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for following me.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, so I'm pulling open this sheet because we have officially apparently passed the amount of responses where Google Forms will not show me all the questions. I have to actually go to the sheet, which is interesting. All right,
Fascinating.
Let me make this big and let me make it a how do I do this? Word wrap format wrapping over not overflow. Wrap. Oh, much better. much better, much better. All right. Okay. So let me get to some of these. Okay. Let's I feel like this is a good one. So this question is reading adult content acceptable in a relationship? And I would even go to expand that as like is watching porn acceptable in a relationship or anything like that. So if someone wants to, the way I do these is like we'll have a question. If someone wants to jump in on it, go for it while I add the question to the screen, and then it allows for people popping in and stuff to know what the question is.
I have a really funny story. Can I say it?
Please,
Yeah.
please.
I saw the smile on your face the second the question went through.
So I once knew like kind of like I don't know, like a newly couple or whatever that got together like years ago. This girl told her boyfriend and everything, like, you cannot read any porn or anything. Like, you have to just think of me and everything. He made a public announcement on Facebook saying like, oh yes, my girlfriend has showed me the way and everything. And I regret reading hentai, and like I feel so dirty with myself. I will only think about my girlfriend now. And he put that on Facebook, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
No.
I remember.
No. Baby,
I think
no.
I commented under it. I said, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I mean, to each their own, but I think it's healthy though.
I don't think it on its own is a problem. Like,
yeah.
I know there's the argument, right? So there's the argument of that like porn and adult content is the gateway to cheating. And I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think that's been used as a crutch or an excuse for so many years that at some point people started to believe that one correlated to the other. When there's a lot of couples that use it together privately. Like there's uses for it that even make intimacy better, rather than it just being a matter of treating content the same as cheating, which is what the usual argument is.
Right.
Yeah. I think that you touched on a good part there, because like when couples use it together too, like that's also a thing. Like,
yeah.
I just think it's really funny. Well, I don't. Maybe this is just assuming, but I think people probably have like, I don't. Like people are insecure with their partner or insecure with themselves. Like if they tell their partner to not do that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think insecurity is definitely where that lands.
I'm trying to. I'm letting you talk and trying to like find an emote, the perfect emote to respond to Dora's fucking comment here. Where is it? Where is my emote? Why can't I find my?
I would never let my partner watch Marina streams.
Oh my god.
The Marina streams too privately intimate. Can't do it. Basically ruining my relationship. How dare?
Oh my god, there it is. Why couldn't I see it? Okay, there you go. That's my response to you, Dora.
We gotta keep our partners away from Marina.
True, it's basically sex. It's watching my streams is essentially the.
But
exact
you can't say
thing.
that. Twitch will attack you.
Oh my god, yeah, they'll be like, "Are you making a joke?" We don't know. One of the things I really do appreciate about Twitch's TOS is that they do make it very clear that like sex education is okay.
Yeah.
And humor, like, you know, they design if you're doing adult humor or you're doing sex education, you tag your stream as mature, and then we're all good. So I do, you know, appreciate that, because
as long as Twitch doesn't take my ability to say pee pee poo poo away, we're good.
Yeah,
that's my line.
Yeah.
The day pee pee poo poo banned, riot.
Yeah. So what I will say as far as is reading or watching adult content acceptable in a relationship, I think that the short answer is yes. It should always be acceptable. I think that there needs to be a clear understanding that your personal sexuality is not owned by anybody. It doesn't matter whether you're in a relationship or not. You still have your own sexuality, right? Like your body is yours. No one else owns you, or that kind of thing. I think that mentality, that kind of old school mentality of like, oh, well, if you're dating me, then, you know, there's nothing else. There's no porn. There's no this or that. Like, it's definitely something that should be discussed. If there's an issue, it should be talked about. It should be worked through. But
Yeah.
I guess when it comes to
Yeah.
any relationship, I guess there's like deal breakers. Like it's
yeah, some person, yeah, like there's chances that two people get in a relationship and then they don't agree on certain things, or they don't see eye to eye, and that's part of relationships. It's part of growing up and learning, like, oh, well, this relationship doesn't work, and it's part of like figuring out your priorities, right? Like, what is important to you and what's not
Yeah.
as important to you.
Yeah,
So,
like what Adora said. I think the thing about relationships that a lot of people don't understand, and I mean, this goes for friend relationships, friends with benefits, if that's still an appropriate term, literally any sort of like relationship that exists, literally.
yeah,
Communication is everything, because there's no actual like stone testament that says these are the 10 rules that ensure a relationship is healthy. Like, no, it varies based on human A and human B, or, you know, like every single human is different. So if you don't communicate, how are you ever going to find what those rules are?
right.
You know,
Mhm.
and some will work and some won't, but communication is literally the entire game. A relationship in bare bones, no matter what kind of relationship it is
Yeah,
just a big communication game.
and there's. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Tom.
Sorry. I guess I was looking at like the question again too. I would say acceptable, yes, but if it's taking priority over your relationship, like if you're, I guess maybe engaging with it too much, maybe. I guess that could.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you engage in something too much, regardless, I guess like as long as it's
Yeah.
not, you know. Oh, Ava, hello.
Ava,
Ava!
you got a
Hey!
shiny. You got a shiny.
Let's go.
I love that. What was your shiny? What'd you got? Also, Ava, I love you. You're amazing. It's so nice to see you. I was really hyped to see that you're also doing sex ed programming, Ava. I think you're doing a stream tomorrow, right? I don't know if it's I don't know if it's your first time doing it or you've been doing it for a while. But I'm so excited for you. Yeah, I saw you're gonna have Vex on, who will be over here with us in 2 weeks from now. Yeah, I'll be
that's
announcing
exciting.
I'll be announcing the lineup of like the next month or so. But yeah, there'll be some exciting people coming by. Cotton and Powder coming by next
I
week.
love Cotton.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then I have Vex and Prism, and I'll have Mim and Coconuts, and
Coco!
Lily
Oh,
Bell.
nice.
Yeah, so we have a
Oh.
lot of people coming by in the next
So
few
many.
weeks. Yeah. So I'm excited to sort of push out like a season 1 of a few weeks and see how it goes and see what I'm liking. And Ava, of course, I would always love to have you on if you ever want to come by. Yeah, we can chat about it. Hope you're having a great sex ed stream. Yeah, though I'm doing the Vex tomorrow. I've a couple of them. I love that. It's so fun. It's so like I feel like it's a really important thing to do on Twitch. You know, just to make information accessible and to make you know, like we were saying earlier, to make information less taboo. To know that it's like it's okay for us to talk about this kind of stuff. So I love seeing more people doing it. Yeah, thank you again for the raid. I really appreciate that.
Put your
I hope
hands
you
up.
make sure you
You
take
are
care of
arrested
yourself.
for being
You know,
horny.
take care of yourself.
Or going to horny
Get
jail.
some water. Get some you know, rest or anything you got to do. Also, I just realized, I think I didn't want to interrupt a train of thought, but I had is it Shimon or Chimon? Thank you so much for the raid earlier. I appreciate it.
Chimo!
Hello, Chimon. Yay.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I was like, oh, I want to say something, but I don't want to interrupt someone from speaking. And then it slipped my mind, but I do appreciate you. So thank you. All right. So yeah, lots of people are going to be joining us. So I'm really excited to see how this shapes up. And hopefully I have a really nice time with my guests that I, you know, like from this week and last week, and people want to come back in the future, and that would be really cool, right?
Absolutely. I think you can already count me and Tane.
Yeah. I look, any chance I get to hang out with you two, like I love it. Chat. I have known these two for it's been probably about 1.5 years or something. Like I've known you two
something like
both
that.
for
It's been a while,
long
yeah.
time.
1.5 years, 2 years, something like that, right? Yeah.
Every chance that I get to work with either of you is like it's just I love it. I really
I'm
really
happy.
appreciate both of you.
I want to spend more time with you. And like all the friends that I made over the first year of creating, I've been very bad about doing things. Like I've been very stuck to myself. Not
Yeah.
intentionally. It was more like I just kind of shied away from conversation, and I really want to break that. Literally, I think I've done more collabs in this last week since re-debuting than I did in like the last 6 months of streaming. And I'd like to keep it that way. I'd like to keep going that direction because it's just so fun. And you guys are all so amazing.
Yeah. Let me see. Someone said something. Only relationship stuff I have trouble with is being fine 1 minute and then the next in a relationship spikes and basically ruins the relationship. Plus, I was abused in one relationship, still recovering a bit. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was related to the question we're asking, but yeah, that's a whole other thing. Struggling with post abusive relationship stuff is really, really rough, and it's not the same for any two people. And the best thing you can always do is make sure you're getting help that you need, from a professional. That's
absolutely,
that's the best thing, yeah, that you can do. Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to talk about the before we move away from the adult content stuff, you have the extreme situations where you have people kind of basing their needs and relationships off of those things, and I think that's kind of like the counter side to look at as like
yeah.
And you touched on responsibly, right? Like looking at stuff responsibly, consuming stuff responsibly, and I think that is a huge thing, right? Because we have to acknowledge that adult content is fictional, fantasy, and so I think the biggest problem comes from people who are consuming pornography and then basing their sexual relationships off of that.
Off of it.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be like the biggest issue. And so I understand when like, people in a relationship and someone's like, hey, do you want to like do this thing like we saw, or like, whatever. And ultimately, like sexual comfortability, kinks, things like that are shared between two people, it needs to be discussion, right? And ultimately, something that might be a kink or an interest for one partner might not be for the other partner. And it kind of comes down to, again, weighing the priorities of that in a relationship, right? It's like, for example, it's I talk about, having an armpit kink or whatever. Like if I had a partner who was like, no, I don't want you to like look at my armpits or touch my armpits or whatever, like I would have to weigh like, is that important to me in this relationship? Like, is it something that I feel like I need or want, or how would that impact things? Like, you might be really, really into somebody, but you have to be honest with yourself as far as looking at like, will I grow resentful for not being able to express myself or whatever, whatever you might want or need. And there's no right answer. That's always like an introspective question for people, right?
Yeah. And the romantic spectrum is so wide and variant that like it's a question everyone needs to ask themselves and address very seriously, because there's so many different ways that a person can feel and be, and to some people emotions are everything, and to others it's not quite the case. And it's just really sitting down and getting to know yourself before committing to anything, as well as before putting anyone in a predicament of that becoming precarious.
I like that. Yeah, you have to like understand yourself before you can well, I guess be in a relationship with others too, right? So
yeah, it kind of all comes full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I feel like we talked. I mean, I guess my input, my kind of final answer on this is it acceptable? Yes, it should be. I think it's unhealthy for one partner to feel demanding or controlling or feel jealous over, the content, right?
Yeah.
It's understandable for someone to be like, well, like, am I not enough? But it's not ultimately that, right? It's not about whether you're enough or not. And I think it's also up to the other partner to make sure that even in a healthy relationship where, pornography is consumed by other partner, that the other partner knows that they're enough, right?
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, they wouldn't be with you if they thought you weren't enough, I guess.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's part of it. Yeah.
communication with the rainbow and the two hands opening, and then communication's the word in between the rainbow. We're back to that because
Yeah.
God, I feel like anytime I've heard people have like serious relationship problems, right? It always comes back to blank made me feel terrible, or blank makes me feel not wanted, but they've never gone through and expressed that, and or the other person refused to listen. And that's a whole nother story when someone in a relationship refuses to listen, but we're not going down that train yet. Unless that's the next question.
Oh.
Yeah. I see well, I see another question in chat, not from the forum, but I see someone bringing up sorry, this isn't a relationship question, but there's one person I liked a while back. However, they were straight, so I don't know how to approach that due to that. Well, so you wanna weigh in on what happens when someone's orientation doesn't align with mine? What's your take on that?
I'm gonna quickly, before we get into this whole conversation, I'm gonna have a strange like perspective here, because like my family, my mother came out as lesbian, and that's why my parents got divorced and all kinds of stuff, and so I was very defensive of my mother, but I'm not. I'm heterosexual, so I've never personally experienced that feeling, and I can't really relate, and I don't want to speak on something that I can't personally understand, because I think a lot of people like to push their opinions in places they can't. And I watched what my mother went through growing up and still actively is going through. And I know that there's a lot of things that me as a heterosexual person can't properly understand because of a certain level of bias. So from like my perspective, my brainwave would be like, well, the best thing to do is always be honest about how you feel. Like, I think that's the healthiest thing to do in any circumstance, even if we're not talking about romance. But I know that when it comes to, some people don't take very well. People who are heterosexual like me and don't have open minds can be volatile, and I can understand that fear weighing in, and that's where it's like, I don't know if my opinion is right here because I've never been in that kind of predicament.
Sure.
So I just wanted to throw that out there for all future conversations.
For sure. I feel like from my perspective, I feel like it's very difficult because like I feel like I just wouldn't want to upset the person, or I would be thinking about them. It's like I don't want to make that complicated for them.
Right.
But I mean, I feel it's kind of weird, I guess, saying as a bi person, because I guess it wouldn't matter for me. but I guess, I feel like that'd be difficult because you wouldn't want to upset that person. But at the same time, you can probably confess, but then they're
Hi, Marina.
whether they accept or reject, I guess that's up to them. So
yeah,
I guess there's always that thought of like, what if they just haven't come out of the closet, or what if they just aren't saying anything because maybe their family isn't, on board. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would still be thinking of the what if, but maybe I'm just way too much of a positive thinker.
Alpaca, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Also, hi Siege. Yeah, I think here's the thing. I think there are healthy and unhealthy ways of looking at stuff like this. I think that anyone who has the like, well, maybe I can convince them kind of mentality, I think we all can all agree that like that's not a way to go down. Kind of
I don't think that's a bad route. Yeah.
And the same way anyone wants someone to respect their sexual orientation, like vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's the same kind of thing. Like you'll have straight men being like, well, that woman says she's a lesbian, but it's probably just because she hasn't had the right guy yet. You hear that,
I don't like that. Yeah,
you hear that kind of stuff, and yeah, right. Like we hear that. But it's the same thing. Otherwise, like, oh well, I'm gay, but that person's straight, and maybe I can talk them into it. As long as that's not the mentality that anybody has about someone else with a orientation that does not, whether the person thinking that is gay or straight or whatever their orientation is, like as long as no one has that mentality, then I think being honest and open is okay, right? I think it's it's the same thing that goes into any situation. Because we had a question last week that was like the kind of thing of, oh, I've liked my friend. It's been like 2 years. Do I tell her or not? Like, I don't want to ruin a friendship. And I think it's the same kind of idea, right? Like,
Ooh, that's always the hard ones where it's like you don't want to ruin a friendship. Yeah.
yeah, you don't want to make someone uncomfortable. It's that same idea, right? Like, it doesn't matter what your orientation is. You can kind of think about some of that stuff, right? Are there any signs that they may be interested despite their perceived orientation? Do you think that's at all a possibility? Like, that's what you have to think about. Now, if you aren't seeing any signs and you are going to, broach that subject and risk someone being uncomfortable and potentially ruining a relationship, because the orientation shouldn't even matter. Sometimes people just get uncomfortable knowing that, like, ooh, this person likes me and I don't like them.
Yeah, that alone
Mm-hmm.
can damage relationships regardless of any of the other parts.
Yeah, orientation doesn't matter in that situation, but it takes a lot to kind of think about it and weigh your options. That being said, sometimes the best option for yourself, so you don't regret it, is just to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
and I think communicating your feelings, but also understanding and going into it with the idea of, like, what happens if they say no, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if
Mm-hmm.
they say no? What do you do there in that situation?
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
even if like, well, if two people are straight or gay or something, like I feel like rejection is also a thing just people are scared about, like in general, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
No one likes being
yeah,
rejected. That's
exactly.
never a good experience.
yeah,
hmm
yeah. Do these get saved as VODs? The VODs are available on Twitch for a bit, and then I am actually in the process of working with my editor, who just finished highlights, or gave me a draft of highlights from last week, and we'll be doing highlights again for this week, and we hopefully, on the YouTube channel, we'll be having highlights from every show where people can
That's
pop in
exciting.
and
That's
see.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's where you can check that out.
Yeah.
Wild.
I kind of have like a small story, I guess, kind of
Sure.
related to this.
Yeah.
I had a crush on an older girl when I was in like my last year of high school. So, um, and we spent a lot of time together and everything.
Yeah.
And I knew she was also bi. But then she ended up like dating a guy and I got salty and everything. But then I was like, okay, I have to get over this. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it happens. Like, yeah. hmm
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's it's one of those things you just kind of see where it goes. But yeah, I think the
hmm
important takeaway here is, if someone else might not like you for a multitude of reasons, orientation may be involved or not, and ultimately it's okay. But you never want to push, right? You never want to push or make someone uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
what I would
hmm
advise is even, addressing that subject, right? I know from what I've gathered from you, you typically haven't expressed that you're attracted to women. But I feel like I'm getting feelings for you. I kind of have a crush on you, so I wanted to just see how you felt. And if you don't feel that way, that's okay. I'll be fine. I just figured I should let you know to see what you thought. That's a way of introducing the subject. You're letting someone know that they're like they have an out, quote unquote, if they are not, um there's just you're making it easier for someone to feel comfortable, because either way you don't want to pressure someone. You want ultimately to make someone
Yeah.
feel as comfortable as possible when you're presenting them with information. And you should know that they might just say, they're not interested, and that's
Mhm.
okay, right? You have to know that that's okay before you go in.
hmm
Rejection sucks, but it's life, right?
Yeah.
It's also kind of
100%.
it's also kind of why it's better to just bring up feelings when you start to feel them before they get to a
Mhm.
point of such strength that rejection is like crippling, right?
I agree with that. I feel like for every relationship or like dating relationship I've been into, like I've always like confessed first because I just don't want to waste time.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's true. And everyone
Mhm.
struggles with it. Doesn't matter how many relationships you've had. Like, I've had so many relationships in my life, and literally, like, I still, like, to this day, end up in situations where I like somebody and I struggle with the idea of, like, do I tell her? Do I, like, when is it too soon to bring it up? Like, is it healthy for me to like not bring it up? You know, like stuff like that. Like being in those situations, it's gonna happen your whole life. It's just a matter of adapting to it, and growing from it and getting those experiences is basically how it works. Yeah. Yeah. Usually taking a step back from the friend you confess to will help you both feel more comfortable in the long run. Like don't talk to them for a week or two and come back when your feelings are gone. Yeah, that's a really good point and good advice too. Ways to handle it when, you know, things don't necessarily go the way you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I talk about a subject that's been bothering me for a long time now? So we do have a form. Use exclamation point question. I'm pulling questions from this form. So that is how I recommend you you ask your questions. It allows me to keep track of stuff, because if you throw it in chat, it will 99% like guarantee
Get missed.
that
Yeah.
it will not get picked up by us. So use that question form, and that way it lives there and we can see and we can try to respond. Yeah. All right, y'all ready to take another one?
Yeah,
Yep,
let's do it again. Let's do
All
another
right.
one.
All right. Let's see. Okay. This is a good one. So this question is, I have many kinks, and I'm afraid of dating due to the fact that I know a lot of people are nowhere near as well kinky. So how should I go about this matter as a nervous switch?
So I think the misunderstanding is that there's a lot of people that are very closet kinky or just haven't really been able to explore. I don't know, as someone like Tani might understand this, being that I was in a Catholic school, right? It was very hard to find people to really talk or learn from. And if you aren't naturally curious and get onto the you know, the orange YouTube, there's a very good chance that there's a lot of people that just don't know, even if they're older. So I feel like a very common misconception is that being kinky is rare, when I don't think it's nearly as rare as people think it is. It's just not something people are very comfortable with yet or haven't fully explored.
Or it's maybe not an appropriate time to talk about it on the time or the setting, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
So they have many kinks, but they're afraid of dating?
Yeah, I think the idea is, I have a lot of kinks, and I'm afraid that if I date someone, they're not going to be at my kink level, and I don't know what to do. What do I do if I think that I have a lot of kinks and someone might think I'm weird or someone might not go along? I think that's kind of the question.
I think if Kite's in the chat, am I okay to talk about you before? Can I get permission to talk about us? So Kite's my partner that I talked about. He's in the chat. He's
Hi, Kite.
recovering from being sick.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I'm not gonna go like super in depth here, but I think I think this question might actually be relatable. For me, from the flip side, I didn't really have any relationships before Kite. I was not curious like Tane. I never looked up things. I didn't even you know, find the self goodness until end of high school. Like that's how much of a late bloomer I was. I actively to this day will be in calls and people will bring up a type of kink and I will not know what it is and I will be confused. It is still an ongoing thing with me. Kite, on the other hand, was very romantically experienced prior to me. And is much more, I don't know if I'm on, like, I don't know where I land on the spectrum, but I'm not very adventurous. But he's the polar opposite. And so our relationship is a constant give and take of seeing what I'm comfortable, what he's comfortable, who wants what, who is this, who is that. It's a balancing act constantly because I'm constantly learning while this is all stuff that was second nature. What did he say? It blocked it for me. What did he say?
I was a hoe, nodders.
I was a hoe.
He was a hoe. So fun fact, I met him at anime convention and I went, oh, that guy's hot. I like that one. He lived in a different state and he did one of those stupid Facebook posts where it was like, send me an asterisk if you think I'm cute. And I did. And his first response was, oh God, not another one. Literally, that was his first response. But now we're in an 8-year relationship. So suck it, I won.
I love that.
But I digress. So at least from my perspective, there's nothing wrong with being extra kinky and then being with someone that might not be to your level, because I don't think a relationship has to be you guys are on the same level. It just depends on if the other partner is willing to stretch their boundaries and start defining where those boundaries are, and you equally being like, that boundary is cool with me. I'm cool if we don't have to go 100% in that direction. If 50% is fine with me, but that has to be like you two both agree on that, and whatever relationship you have matters enough for those costs,
Right.
I don't know. I kind of went on a bit of a big barrel roll, but I felt like knowing that I probably am the exact kind of person they're scared of ending up in a relationship with, my opinion probably matters.
No, it's okay. Actually, I muted for a moment. I wanted to get permission from Crunch. I was like, Crunch is a little vanilla compared to me, so
Yeah.
So I'm the Crunch of your relationship. I got it. Yeah. Oh my god, Crunch, I feel you, buddy.
Crunch is a little bit more vanilla. I feel like I'm more the kinky one, but I don't know. You could still be in a relationship if somebody is like maybe a little bit more vanilla. Like you just ask like what is okay with them, and if they say, oh, maybe that's not like it, then that's okay. Like I don't know. he's a good boy. Yeah. Crunch is a good boy.
I had to mute. I literally spat and laughed out loud, and I'm a good boy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible. Like, it's not that you want to like maybe convince somebody if there's something uncomfortable that they want to do, but like you can bring stuff up. But yeah, it's yeah. Plus, I don't think people would like. I don't know. I guess it depends how normie someone is. Like, I think for the dating scene, I guess try to talk to people that you feel that you can have common interests with. I guess is the thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it also kind of depends on the realm of your kinks too. If you're like, I'm into getting tied up or tying someone up, or like, those things are like very common even when people don't talk about it. Right? In the realm of a little bit more out there stuff, like I'm really into armpits or feet, or like whatever it might be, that's like, oh well, I don't see that as often, but still, I mean, you can talk to someone.
You guys want to know a secret?
Yeah.
I didn't, Marina, I'm sorry, don't take this the wrong way. I genuinely didn't think that feet and armpit kinks were real. Until the VTuber community. You were actually my introduction to it, and I was like, wait, is this a legit? At first I thought you were joking. I thought it was just a joke. I didn't know. It wasn't like a negative. I just didn't know. I was just so shocked. And then later I privately mentioned it to Kite, and he was like, that's a thing, you know that, right? And I was like,
yeah. It's interesting because I've read like for Japan, Korea, maybe some other like parts of like Asia too. Apparently it's quite common for armpit stuff because like there's not as much like deodorant, right? So you can like lick people's armpits, and it's kind of like giving someone hickeys or like the equivalent of North America stuff, I guess. So yeah.
I mean, I remember school being like, yo, hair grows in sexual places, and I was like, but why in these places? And I never thought about it. There was more science to that after all.
Yeah. Hair acts as like a pheromone collector a lot of the time when it comes to like armpits and pubic region and stuff like that, which are zones where you get the pheromone sweat, the sweat that's made to attract a mate. That's so funny. Yeah, do you know how I've had a number of people actually that are just like, wait, so do you actually like armpits, or is it like a bit? And I'll be like, oh no, I mean I do. Like I do. I like smells and tastes, and it's something that just like goes into it, kind of a thing.
I think this actually kind of plays into this question for me a bit. I think this is actually part of the reason why I think getting in a relationship with someone that may be into very different levels of kinks than you is also good, because I would have considered, okay, so when me and Kite first got together, I definitely would have considered myself extremely vanilla, and I would have wanted to just stay that way. Not because that was really how I was, but a lack of exposure.
Sure.
And being with someone that didn't have those limits kind of helped me explore myself as well. The difference was it was brought to me with kindness, not put in my face in a sense of I have to
Yeah.
accept it. And I think if anyone tries to
Yeah.
say, yo, if I don't get to lick your feet, we're over, then that's a bit aggressive.
Oh gosh,
That's a bit aggressive.
We're over. We're done. If I
You
can't
give
have your
me the toe beans.
if I can't suck on your toes, then that's it.
But yeah, I think that's the thing that is the biggest concern here is if you're scared of another person running away from you because of what you like, I think any sane person, in my opinion, or someone who is actively in the mental place for a genuine relationship, I don't think they would run away from being shown a kink that isn't necessarily their forte.
Mhm.
If I were to run away from the foot ice cream that fast, it's because I was not ready, okay? You know what I mean? Like that's on me to some degree. So I think you have nothing to be scared of. I think you should be proud of who you are and what you like. And if you have someone you like, don't let that stop you. But just communicate. And there's a good chance, even if
Right.
they might not land in the same vein, that like me, it may help to open their horizons a bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, obviously, there are things that are on the ends of spectrums that are way more taboo or way more off-putting to certain people.
Mhm.
I kind of want to ask to know just because I probably don't know they exist,
Yeah.
but I'm also don't know if I should.
Well, I'm saying, like, if someone's kink is like, I want my partner to poop on my chest,
Oh.
that's gonna
That's a thing.
be like something that I feel like is much harder to just hope you end up with someone who's like okay with that, right?
I think there's certain thresholds
So-
of kink. so
Right.
it's-
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the thing
Yeah.
is that even people who no two people who would like call themselves kinky are necessarily in the same realm. Like everyone has
Mhm.
what I call like a kink chart. Like the things that are attractive, kinky, they like it, and then the things that are like, oh no, right? I don't want that. I don't like it. That's not attractive to me. That's off-putting. Whatever it might be, right? Like different people are going to be into different things.
Mhm.
So if you're looking for someone to poop on your chest, you might want to seek out specific areas that are
Yeah.
like fetish sites or
Oh.
things. You know what I mean? Because there's stuff like Fat Life. Is that the one? Like there's like certain websites and stuff where like people.
I have a story. Sorry, I just thought about it. Does everyone remember that one Reddit post where like the guy really wanted to like have a girl dress up like a clown, and he got to like have a girl he got to do
With a
the stuff with
clown?
her. Yeah, do the stuff with the clown and everything.
Okay,
And
okay.
he had like this Reddit post that was so like he's like I cried because I was so happy, and then they got into a relationship. And everyone's like, "Nice job."
I'm not familiar with that post.
Well, yeah, I'll see if I can try to find it at some point. But yeah, the Clussy, because he had like a
Yeah.
clown fetish, and he hired somebody to like dress up as a clown or something, or and then like he was like, "I am so happy," and then they got into a relationship.
I'm going to ask a very dumb question, and I know this is going to be very stupid coming from a
No,
co-host
no,
on
no.
this, but I'm also learning as we go. Can someone explain to me the exact definition of a kink or fetish? Is it just things
Oh.
that make your brain go hee hee hoo hoo, or like how, what is the line? Because I actually don't know.
So Marina can maybe correct me on this, but
Sure.
a fetish is something you have to get off on. A kink is like, well, not as I guess intense, but a fetish is something you have to get off on.
Okay, so one's like it's kind of in your core personality, and it plays a very large role in getting you to that point of hee hee hoo hoo. The other one is more like an interest that make big smile.
Yeah, you might be like, oh, I have a glasses kink. So I really
Mhm.
like
Okay.
when guys are in glasses. I think it's really cute. Or I have a kink for like rolled up
Yeah.
sleeves. Like seeing a guy like rolled up sleeves like right around the bicep
Okay,
and seeing
all
that
right.
like
I can
like,
understand
that's-
this.
you know,
Yeah, and then
that's
when
kind of
people
nice.
and when people
That's an example. So
like,
yeah, so
Okay.
that's an
yeah, because
example.
like when people say they have a foot fetish, they're like that. I have to get off on feet like that. Like that's the kind of
Got
Okay,
it. Okay,
yeah, so there's-
I'm understanding way better now. Thank you, because this has always really confused me.
Sure. That's why I say I have an armpit kink, because I think armpits are nice.
But it doesn't
I
have to be the pit.
like them a lot, but I don't like need to have my face in someone's armpit in order to like have a good time. You know,
Yeah,
like
got it, okay.
it's just something that's nice. If someone had a fetish, usually it's so deeply ingrained into like their sexual upbringing or whatever it might be. It's just
Okay.
really kind of consumed the way their brain works with getting off and
Mm-hmm.
what's stimulating or arousing to them, right?
Okay.
So some people might have a kink for feet where they're like, oh, feet are kind of cute, and like if my partner, you know, put their foot in my face and like, you know, winked at me or told me to lick them, like depending on whatever their relationship is, like I'd do it, yeah. But a foot fetishist would be someone who,
It was a requirement.
yeah, like that's the hottest thing to them, and that, like it's really
Yeah.
hard for them to really enjoy themselves if they're not
Okay.
it's experiencing those things too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
So like for example as well, like I know somebody who like really has like a domination fetish. Like it's like, oh, women are fucking better than you. Like it's like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like it's like they have to get off on that. Like yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
All
That's
right,
true,
I
that's true.
understand now. That'll help with
Yeah.
things going forward because I was like, wait, I don't actually know. I don't actually know.
Yeah, that's what the,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
the dynamic.
no worries.
That's a
Yeah.
big one. I feel like that I see that a lot of people have like more in the fetish realm of like
Mhm.
some people have to be submissive and they have to feel like they're being dominated in order to really get off.
Mhm.
That's probably a really common one.
It's like sometimes like it revolves around like their whole life too. Like they
Yeah,
have to yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool
Yeah, yeah.
beans.
Yeah. We're all learning.
I'm learning.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the thing. Is like I feel like usually people
is it
have a lot.
possible to not have fetishes?
Yeah.
To just
Yeah.
roam the world as a free burb?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's more common to not have a fetish than it is to have a fetish.
Okay.
To have something that you like you need every time, right?
Yeah.
Because that would mean like you couldn't just enjoy regular intimate interactions with someone unless like they at some point put their feet in your face, or you thought you had to think about them putting their feet in your face or something for you to like, you know, have a satisfying experience.
Mhm.
I
That's
just like being
yeah.
loved. I'm a simple soul.
Aw,
Yeah.
wholesome. Aw.
That's literally it. I
my
just
my
love
kink
me,
is to
okay.
feel loved. Aw.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like getting deeper into it, there's like no real definitive understanding that we have of like how people develop kinks or fetishes. Like we have all kinds of thoughts, like a lot of things have to do with like upbringing and things that were like molded into people's minds during like periods of sexual awakening, usually during childhood and adolescence. And since everyone has different life experiences, it's kind of why some people do and some people don't, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess to kind of wrap up on this question, communication is important. Weigh your priorities. How
Communication.
right? Now, if you have a foot fetish and you need feet and your partner is not into feet, obviously that might be an issue for you, right? You want to make sure that you communicate that and you see if that's something that works. And there has to be a give and a take, right? Because if you have a partner who's a bit more vanilla and it's like, oh, well, I really like this. I just want to be loved and feel like I'm cared for. And
Hit me.
that's really the most like attractive thing to me. That's what makes me have a good time. But, you know, I do like you and I do want to make sure that you have a nice time. So I don't mind sticking my feet in your face every so often. Like, if that's the thing, then you have to be respectful, right? That it's not, no relationship is just one person. Relationships are two people. Now, if two people find a very compatible kink relationship or fetish relationship where one, you know, both people are very interested in
The same
whatever
ground line.
yeah, exactly, the same thing. One's interested in giving, one's interested in receiving, or whatever it might be. That's obviously an ideal, but you know, some people are just interested in making their partners happy. Right? Which means and obviously everyone has limits, and limits are the absolute, like, need to be respected. but that's the kind of thing that's like you never know until you bring it up. And like I said, you want your partner to like put their armpit in your face. That's one thing. You want them to poop on your chest. That's a bit more extreme, and you might not have the same level of luck with that, right? I also like did Kite say in chat that he knew someone who liked that?
Yeah, we know someone. We know someone.
I was gonna say that's
Oh.
been the biggest thing that always stuck with me. It was someone. I had these two friends just casually, like they were dating, and I don't know why. One time, like one of them was drunk and was just like, "Yeah, you try new things," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know, like I'm into various things," and they're like, "Yeah, me and my partner, like we wanted to see if we liked it, so we just like pooped on each other." I was like, "Okay,
Oh my god.
that's cool."
Oh my god.
I that might be a line for me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
Just
know,
because
like
it just my gag reflex is really severe. I think I'd just vomit on
Oh.
impact. Like even if I
Yeah.
wanted to just make the other person happy, I just start vomiting on them. And unless they like that too, it's going to be a bad
I was
time for
just gonna
everyone.
say maybe they would like that too.
Oh my god, Tane.
oh no.
It doesn't work
man.
unless the vomit happens at the same time.
Oh, did everyone see
no.
that new episode of Chainsaw Man? Oh my god.
No spoilers.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we're sleeping in separate rooms tonight. I don't like that look.
But yeah, I mean, you all know what I'm saying. Like there are different levels of things that are like extreme for people. So you should have a handle on kind of like where your kink falls in there on the spectrum, and
Mhm.
know that you might have to go places where people are very open about their kinks and meet people that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's something to consider. Yeah,
Mhm.
important. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Time for the next question.
Next question.
Next question.
Let's see. How are we doing? We need a restroom break or anything?
Oh,
I'm all right.
I'm okay. Yeah, thank you for
good?
asking.
Okay.
I'm comfy.
Aw.
Yeah. All right. Let me see what we can get. Oh, I have to reformat this into rap mode every time. Okay. I feel like this is a quick one we can take. Someone asks, I have a huge crush on a girl, and I'm afraid that they might hate me because I'm bisexual. How can I tell them without being judged?
Mm.
Someone want to push that?
This might sound brash, and if it does, please understand it comes from a place of love. I don't think you can do anything in life without being judged. I think life means, in general, that someone will always form an opinion. The difference is your ability to move forward regardless, and know that their judgment doesn't actually affect or change you. If they choose to judge you badly for them, then that's on them, but you don't actually have control over them to stop that. But equally, they don't have control over you. It's a two-way street.
Mhm.
But some, human beings by nature make snap judgments. And even if you are the best person in the world, you're still going to make some sort of judgment, whether they vocalize it or not, So I guess my thing is, regardless of the judgment, you're valid and you should still do what you feel your heart desires. It's kind of my comeback on that. But yeah, that's my opinion. I'm gonna be quiet and let someone else take the floor.
No, I feel like that's good. I feel like that's very on brand for like your VTuber lore. So.
Unfortunately, it is.
Angel with the judgments. Yeah.
Oh God, no. Chat won't stop saying guilty. They won't.
Guilty.
I make an entire video saying, "Hey, we should stop judging each other." The whole point of the video is I refuse. There's a line that says, "I won't judge anymore," and now all chat does is judge every day.
Wow.
This guilty.
Classic
This
chat.
guilty.
Guilty.
I'm about to give them a guilty emote. The rate we're going.
I feel like if you were to tell them, I guess it depends how well you know them, first of all. But yeah, I guess just like what Angel said,
Yeah.
if they do form an opinion on it, like, and you like it depends if you still want them in your life, I guess is the thing. So
Yeah, I also wonder if this is like the other situation where it's like, I have a crush on a girl, I'm bisexual, how do I tell them? Because I'm also a girl? Or are you just saying you're a man and you have a crush on a girl and you're worried that they will like you less because you're bisexual. I'm not sure of the situation there because they're two very different situations. If it's a matter of I have a crush on a girl and I'm a girl, we already kind of talked about the situation. It's the idea of just, hey, be honest with them. Tell them how you feel. But know that they might say they're not interested. That's just something you have to know.
And that's okay. It doesn't change
Yeah.
anything on you, you know? You are still you. You're still amazing. You're still lovable, regardless of what anyone else says. It's no different than walking into a store and someone making a bad judgment who doesn't know you. You won't base your whole personality off that random person you bumped into, right? So this is no different.
Also, I guess speaking as a bi person, maybe be prepared for somebody to just say like, "Oh, it's just a phase, pick a side," kind of thing.
Ugh.
Still not a phase. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I thought that one was one that we kind of like touched on, so we could hop into real quickly. Yeah. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna go use the little streamers room, so I'll pop us to BRB screen real quick.
The little streamers room.
I'll give us a couple minutes if you want to refill your waters or anything, and then we'll be right back, chat. Yeah.
Oh, sounds good.
Remember, exclamation point question if you want to ask us a question. We're still taking questions. We have a lot to get through. We will not be answering every question. Sorry to say, we have over 100 questions. We're not gonna have the time.
It's the Vtuber arc.
But we'll grab what we can. Okay, BRB. All right. Hi. Oh, let's reset that. Okay, there we go. Just had to lean back for a second.
Lean back.
Hi.
Lean back.
We are back. We're back and answering more questions.
How did I end up
So
taller than everyone? What?
I don't know. How did you?
I got comfy and now I'm shrimping over my desk, so maybe that's why.
Oh.
We'll take a few more questions. Let's go with say you're in a relationship. Okay, hypothetical. Okay, imagine that you two are in a relationship.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Say you are in a relationship. You feel that it has started dwindling. They stop texting, talking, responding to anything. When do you address it the right way without sounding needy?
I'm gonna be honest. I mildly zoned out in the middle of the question. What?
Let me say it again.
The part I missed was the something texting without being needy. So the
Okay.
context. I missed the context.
Sure. So the question is, if you're in a relationship and you feel it start dwindling, like maybe they're texting you less or talking to you less or whatever, when do you address it? Right? Do you address it right away? How do you
immediately?
Yeah. When do you address it in the right way without sounding needy? That's.
So I am a very I keep speaking first. Maybe I should stop, but oh well, I've already started.
You're good,
Oh,
you're
it's
good.
okay. Go ahead.
I'm the kind of person that doesn't take time on these sorts of things. If my inability to stay quiet till someone answers the question doesn't show it, I immediately jump in with everything. And I've always found that waiting when it comes to anything that's communication based just leaves room for things to get problematic. In a real relationship, I can't imagine needy as an actual problem. At least from personal experience, the only people I've ever heard say, "Oh, blank was needy, so I broke up with them." The only ever people I've heard say something like that are the kinds of people that were not being a good partner to begin with. So maybe it's just me, but I feel the being too needy thing is bullcrap in like a real relationship, because I think needy means you're being honest about wanting love, wanting attention. I'm sure there's definitely, like anything, a point where it goes too far. But I think asking about why you feel like they aren't talking to you wouldn't be needy. And if someone tried to say, "Hey, how dare you message me being upset about me not talking to you for a week when we're dating? You're so needy," then I would say there's something wrong with them at that point.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
if they're like
just
getting
ask.
defensive, like if they're getting defensive or something like that.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
I feel like you put it quite well. I think it would be good to bring up right away, but then you can use an example saying like, "Oh, you didn't message me since this day or something. Are you okay?" Or like,
Yeah,
or what have
make
you
it
been up
obvious that
to?
it comes from a
Or
reasonable point of concern. Now, if your sentence said, "My boyfriend usually messages me 25 times a day, and he only messaged me 24 times today. He must hate me now," then I would tell you might be off your rocker a bit. But that is literally the only circumstance that I would say that.
Yeah, what I will say, I've been on the other side too. I've been on the I'm in a relationship and I start to feel maybe I shouldn't be in this relationship, and then I get distant. Sometimes people don't know how to deal with that or cope with that the right way, right? Johnny, thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Subbies!
yay!
Thank you. I really appreciate it for 8 months. Yeah. Yeah, so I've been in this situation, before in my lifetime where like you don't really know how to handle it, and sometimes you get a little bit distant. Or sometimes you get distant not because when it was me, like I was rethinking my relationship. I wasn't sure about whether I wanted to continue my relationship or not. I was starting to think about things that were standing out to me, and I did get distant during that time. And it was something I was thinking of. So that's something to know, that if stuff starts happening and there is like a distance that grows or whatever it might be, like, yeah, it's good to talk about it because the other person might not be communicating some of their feelings that they're having, right? They might be thinking about stuff, but if it's a sudden change, yeah, I would talk about it. I would give it give it some wiggle room, give it a week where you're like, what's happening? We used to hang out every single day, or we used to talk every single day, and now they haven't talked to me in like a week. What's happened? Like, obviously, that should be something that stands out, right? And there's probably reasoning for it. So I would say, if that's the situation, bring it up. But if it is, you know, kind of like Angel mentioned, well, not even that, but if it's like they message you 25 times a day and then they take one day and they haven't talked to you, yes, that's unusual, but it's also extremely unhealthy for you to expect someone to be there for you every single day.
24/7.
In case life happens, things come up, and like for you to jump to conclusions immediately is like,
Even in like really dedicated long-term relationships, like I live with Kite, right? Like we talk 24/7. I have
Yeah.
a bad habit of slipping into what would be considered needy behavior where the second you're separated, out of reflex, I'm like, must message constantly. But we both are aware of the unhealthiness there, and like
yeah,
you have to have private time, even in like a 50-year marriage. I don't care how old you are, how long you've been together, and you can't forego personal time. So if you're not allotting personal time in your relationship, the other person is going to eventually get distant because they're going to get overpowered, or you're going to get
Yeah.
overpowered and you're going to
Yeah.
be distant. And once again, this comes back to Rainbow communication.
Yes.
Because all it takes is one person going, hey, I kind of need some time by myself just to, you know, do me things. I like to go, hey Kite, I'm gonna go have Angel time, and he goes, okay, let me know when dinner is, and then we talk, because I'll
Yeah.
just disappear for like 3 hours, which is probably me just listening to music or rolling around on the ground reading webtoons. But hey, I need that time, and I'm sure your
Yeah.
partner needs time like that too. And if you aren't taking time like that for yourself, you may not realize it, but you're harming yourself in the process. Go take yourself
Agreed.
time.
I think you touched on a good thing about like having personal time even within a relationship, because I feel like with Crunch and I, like he's like doing his own thing and I'm doing my own thing right now. So it's like, but we're still like in the same room. Like I feel like I don't know, we're that kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
couple where it's like, oh, like we could still be in the same room but do separate things, I guess. Or
Yeah. The
Yeah.
best. The based relationship. That's the best stuff.
It's good to have like your own time, but also yeah, still be together and everything. But I guess for if anything was dwindling, yeah, communication, bring it up, but don't
Yeah.
bring it up in a way that it's like, oh
Don't
my
be
god,
pressuring,
like
just be
like
caring.
oh my god, like it's the end of the world or something. It's like, no, just
You
I
hate
don't know.
me. Tana,
Yeah.
you didn't message me
Oh,
good morning,
no.
even though we
Oh.
talked for 4 hours last night, and now you don't want to be my streamer friend. And then
Oh.
I bet she's going to write a tweet longer about how much she hates me because it's been 3 hours.
Oh my god.
You know, don't do that.
Yeah.
Tane would unfriend me if I did that every day.
Oh my god, she stopped talking to me after a few hours and we were having such a good conversation. Or no, I don't know. Yeah.
Why did your
It's-
Minecraft bed get moved? It used to be right next to mine.
You know what? I will say, I guess like this is on well, I guess on the topic of relationships, actually for friendships, when I was younger, I was a really like needy friend. Like I would kind of be like that yandere friend, just kind of like, why are you talking to this person? You should be talking to me. but I'm not like that anymore. But yeah. So I don't
How many subs to get Yandere Tane back? Run in the numbers. Give me a second. Checking my wallet.
Oh my gosh.
No, I don't think it's a healthy thing either.
No,
I guess
it's not.
It's just,
It's
you know,
not.
no.
No.
Why are you talking to other people? Oh, yeah.
It's hard
Yeah.
as a VA. Everyone asks for yandere stuff, and I don't like yandere. I find it to be very unhealthy, and I hate promoting unhealthy mindsets. So I'm always like, oh god, rock in a hard place. How do I do this?
Oh.
Yeah. You never want to promote yandere stuff, right?
No,
Like,
no.
my
You
chat
never
needs to
know.
know.
to.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't dare.
I wouldn't get mad at my chat if I found out they were watching other streamers.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's not
No.
like I'm totally writing down the names of all my chat members that are here with Marina emotes. How dare you have other people's emotes in their own chat? Even you should only be using mine. What's wrong with you? God, I still can't believe that's an actual thing people get mad about.
Oh yeah. People
Yeah.
get like mad about that.
I can't rationalize it. I cannot.
Someone came into my stream and used their emotes. I can't believe they were self-promoting. It's like, huh?
How dare
Isn't the
you
point
somebody
of
else's
making
life.
cool emotes to see them used in other channels? I don't.
Yeah.
Anytime
Yeah.
I see good emotes from other channels, there's even times I've subbed to people while I'm live just because I want their emotes. Like,
Oh,
it's so cool.
yeah.
Why would you ever get mad about that? I don't know. People
Yeah.
people be crazy.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually have like a few friends who like use Twitch regularly and they will only sub to some people and don't even watch them just to have their emotes.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
Sure.
Yeah.
there's someone, I don't know their name, but there's like 5 people in my chat that have subbed to this guy that has chicken emotes just because he has chicken emotes. And every time I see them, I casually ask about it, and this is the 3rd time that they go, I don't know who they are. They just have emotes. Here, this is the guy. I don't watch their streams though, but the chickens are cool. And I'm like, okay, okay. Props on them though. I mean, they're making bank on chicken emotes. That's
Nice.
yo, get that bag. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm about to change all my emotes to chicken emotes.
Do it. I have a feeling we would all gain income if we put them as chickens.
Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, I think like I said, you know, when it comes to addressing it, it's give it like a week. And then how do you address it? It's hey, I feel like we were talking a lot, and I feel like this last week you've been kind of distant. I don't know if it's all in my head or I'm overthinking things, but I just wanted to reach out and see if you're okay, or if everything was okay, or if maybe I did something to bother you, and see what they say, right?
Yeah.
Now if they say, oh no, it's nothing, it's a little strange. If you've actually given it a week and their behavior has changed, then I would at that point then rethink, like, if they're not communicating with you, that's a problem, right? And you need to treat yourself with respect and know that if someone is all of a sudden dropping the ball on your relationship, sometimes it's not the answer you want, but sometimes you might want to distance yourself, right?
Yeah. I find that even like I guess even sometimes for DMs when people like leave very like short messages too, like maybe they could be busy, but if they do it too often, it's like okay, I kind of I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We wanna look at another one?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay. Taking a look at some of these. All right. I recently broke up with my boyfriend. Any advice on getting over it faster or feeling less shitty? Also, love you guys, OMG.
Oh.
That's the tail end of that. But yeah, recently broke
Just
up with a
like, just like,
boyfriend.
oh.
Any advice on getting over it faster or feeling less shitty?
Took me a year to get over when my girlfriend broke up with me. It takes time and it takes different time for different people.
I've never had a legitimate breakup, so I can't speak on this specific thing, but I feel like any form of grief, especially when it like the closest I can equate this to is like, you know, when a roommate you really love, like being friends with, moves out and your friendship breaks up, right? And you're like, you're no longer there and you're used to them being around all the time, which is, it's similar. There's just an added layer of pain when it's like a romantic relationship, right?
Right.
The 2 big things is one, refinding a stable routine for who you are without them being in your life, refinding your hobbies as an individual, finding games and shows that you watch that don't make you immediately go, oh, I miss blank, we used to do blank together, this was our thing. It's finding things that make you happy as you the individual, and also allowing yourself to just grieve about it, because you're going to, when something matters to you, be it death, loss, whatever, it hurts and there's no way around that, but that's okay. There's this line I really love that was in, I think it was WandaVision, and it was like, what if grief if not just love, or something like that, but basically what it says is grief is just what happens to love once the loved one is gone, right? So even if it hurts, that grief is a sign, it is a missing letter of the love that you had, and that love is still valid and important even if it's over. And just like death, it takes time to heal from it, and you kind of just got to embrace that and slowly establish a new regular life without that person present.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like you touched on something really good for it's like getting back in touch with yourself and like doing things that you like. Because I feel like it was like during that 1 year, I like went really hard into like vent art and like stuff, and I was just doing a lot of art and like watching a lot of like anime, basically. Yeah,
That's
just kind
good.
of just kind of like doing things that you enjoy to kind of also just take your mind off of it too.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Distractions are healthy to a certain degree.
True,
And
true.
What is grief but love persevering? Sorry, Jed, I had the quote and I got really
Aw.
excited.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Sorry, Marina, didn't mean to talk over you.
No,
I just
no,
got
no,
so
no.
hyped.
No,
I
no,
love
no.
that quote.
Yeah, it's one of those things where breakups are never easy because yeah, you're saying it. It's grieving. It's grieving for a future you created, which is not happening,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what we do. We get into relationships and we start thinking about our futures. We start thinking about whatever it might be, and having the realization that everything you built up in your mind isn't going to happen is unfortunate.
It's hard.
But
really
it's
hard.
hard. But ultimately,
Mhm.
you can be okay, and you will be okay,
Mhm.
and it's just about having some time to grieve, letting yourself feel it, just literally just lie in your bed and cry. That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's okay.
one of the things that you do when you try to like move past it is do things that are healthy for you. One of the things that I feel like people do when they break up is they have a hard time separating themselves from things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, there's that thing that reminds me of my ex. Like,
Yeah.
the healthy thing to do is you don't have to throw it away, but get rid of it from your vision right now. Like,
Yeah.
do things to. Thank you. Thank you so much for 5 months. I really appreciate that. Do like what you can to give yourself a healthy state, right? Your living
Mhm.
situation or whatever it might be. Like, if you need to change your wallpaper, your phone background, or whatever, like, don't do things that are further hurting yourself by,
Yeah.
sitting there and you're like, I miss them, so I don't want to get rid of this because it makes it more real. Like, sometimes ripping off the band-aid is
Yeah.
what we got to do, and it helps
Because
us
you won't
like
heal if you're just surrounded by those memories.
yeah. Any advice on getting over it faster, feeling less shitty? Focus your energy and efforts on something else, whatever you can do, right?
Yep.
And I recommend you do that in a healthy way, right? It's one
Yes,
thing to
yeah.
be like, you know what? I just got broken up with. I'm going to drink a bit tonight. We all been there, right? But you definitely want to make sure that you're not doing anything like pulling into unhealthy habits, like
Yeah.
drinking more often or using other substances or things to just kind of take your mind off things. Those are not healthy ways of doing it. You always want to push yourself in the more healthy way of, focusing what you're doing on other things. Focus on other friends you have, right?
Yeah.
I know sometimes people tell me, well, I don't really have a lot of friends. Like, my ex was my whole life. And it's like, that's hard, right? But now is a chance for you to try to branch out, right?
Yeah,
Spend
yeah.
it. If you're a Twitch viewer, go spend time in streams. Get to meet communities. Go play games. Do things to occupy your time.
There are definitely people out there that you can build
Yeah.
friendships with. You just need to take the dive, and it's hard because moments like that where you're in the most pain tend to be the most critical moments for making big jumps.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those are the best times if you can find a new friend group, pick up a new hobby, maybe start
Yeah.
going on walks or bike rides or something that gives you a really completely different scenery and change. It'll be
Mhm.
hard to find the energy to do it, but the payout will help you indefinitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I feel like it breakups are like hard whether it's like any kind of relationship, and yeah.
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 No, it's
Just
true.
yeah, cuz you're missing like all the good times and everything like that, but then yeah, you just got to refocus on you and everything, do what you enjoy, make yourself happy. It's time for you to have you time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think we're ready for the next
Mm,
one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This question is, how do I, a trans woman, satisfy my need to be physically wanted and fulfilled by my partners when my own gender dysphoria makes it a struggle to like my body parts involved. Sometimes fetish stories can help, but it's almost never easy to start or finish. All right. Well, I have plenty to say on this. I don't know if anyone wants to add something while I
I can't speak on the trans end, but I can speak a bit to body dysphoria.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot with my visual like image, and it's not even like there's like I know that there's nothing wrong with me, but like I've always had issues with myself. I got bullied a lot when I was younger, and at some point I just stopped looking in the mirror almost completely. And there was a phase of my life where I'd look in the mirror and like I wouldn't even see a human. Like my nose would be in the wrong spot, my eyes would be in the wrong spots, and I would literally see like this weird melty mesh of a person that wasn't really there. And that definitely played a big issue in my relationship, especially since I wasn't very sexually active to begin with, and my partner was the polar opposite. And if I can speak anything to that part, it's going to be a very uphill battle. And the only thing that helps me when I'm having moments of freak out is knowing that I can openly talk about the fact that I'm having these dysphorias and these problems, and that I am not happy with myself to the person I'm with. And they're able to help me through those moments as well. Like it's something I can't do it alone. I can't get through this alone. But knowing that by communicating and trying to see that the person I'm with loves me anyway, it kind of helps me see what I look like through their eyes, because I obviously can't trust what I look like through my eyes. I don't know if that's good, bad, or what, but that's just my personal experience.
Yeah, no, it's valid. It's something, yeah, it's not just trans people, but yeah, body dysmorphia is extremely similar to gender dysphoria, in the sense of like feeling bad about, certain things, not seeing things that way. And I think there is a lot of validity in the similarities there. Yeah, I think, to answer your question, how do I satisfy the need to be physically wanted and fulfilled by my partner when my own gender dysphoria makes a struggle to like my body parts involved? So feeling wanted by a partner is very different from feeling wanted or attractive yourself, right? That's the first thing that you need to recognize, is that just because you may not like certain things about your body does not mean that your partner feels that way.
Exactly, because like they're with you for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, frankly, most likely they wouldn't be with you if those things were an issue. Yeah. So how do you satisfy your need to be physically wanted and fulfilled? I think that's are you talking to a professional? Are you talking to a therapist? A gender therapist, a gender specialist is someone who I highly recommend you talk to, right? Working through that stuff and seeing what you can do. Ultimately, transitions are different for everyone. And some people, some people set out to have a transition that involves different surgeries and things that may affect their body. And some people don't, right? So it's about looking into that, looking into the accessibility of what you want, what is good for you. But ultimately, let me address this a couple different ways, because there's a couple different situations. Number one is you don't need to force yourself to have sex or do sexual things if you are uncomfortable, right? If you that's not the vibe I'm getting, but I just want to bring that up just in case, and just as a general thing for trans people who are dealing with dysphoria. It's okay to take time. It's okay to have days or stretches of time where you just don't want to be sexual. You don't want anyone to perceive your body. That's fine. That's fine if that's how you're feeling, right? Now, if it's a long-term thing, again, I think it's something that you should talk about with a therapist and see what their professional advice is, right? But ultimately, I think it's trying to pull into knowing that your partner likes you. Your partner likes your body. your partner finds you attractive, you know, and trying to find some comfort in that. That's part of what I would throw out there as like a recommendation with dealing with this kind of situation. I'm curious about, sometimes fetish stories can help, but it's almost never easy to start or finish. Again, I think if you're really going into kinks or fetishes or fantasies, part of that can pull the attention away from your body or things that might be on the forefront otherwise. And if it works for you, I don't think there's anything inherently unhealthy about fantasies or kinks or things like that being involved in your situations, right? But again, ultimately, you know, none of us are, from my knowledge, licensed therapists or gender specialists. So
I was gonna say no. I
Yeah.
no.
so ultimately, it is something that you want to run by a professional, because that's a more deeply rooted thing. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts for anyone? We go another one.
I feel that I can't really, talk about that from a trans perspective, but I feel like Angel, you brought up like for body dysmorphia, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I can
um,
never remember the second word. I got it wrong earlier, but Marina corrected me. Thank you.
I was thinking too. This is something that, well, I guess on the topic of that, I know it's not entirely related, I guess, but COVID was not really kind to Crunch and I guess. So we're trying to like get back into shape, and we've been going to the gym, and we've been motivating each other and everything. So I feel like as a couple, we want to be better for ourselves too.
That's good.
So
That's
so
really
it's
good.
like so it's like if you're I don't know, it doesn't maybe have to be like in a relationship or something, but maybe
Mhm.
even for friendships too, having like a buddy to kind of like do things together, like with you, I guess, to encourage you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone that can help you feel more grounded in who you are, regardless of what your fears or how you feel about yourself, is I think what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know. I know it's not really like on topic, I guess, but
No, you're
just I
good.
don't know.
It's
You're good.
loosely
Yeah.
related. It all comes to
Yeah.
the feeling of not being happy with yourself and not knowing how to move forward with it. And I think that's a
Mhm.
feeling that all of us at some point at least hit. There's definitely different variants of it, and some get harder than others for sure. But at least the
Mhm.
feeling comes from the same kind of ground line.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. I have a question here. As a man that was brought up to not show emotion, how should I start a conversation with my partner to talk about both hers and my emotions?
Ooh. So which one of us wants to
Mm.
take this one?
I am not a man, so I don't from a male perspective, I guess that would be hard because I feel like I guess as women like we
I'm
always
about to
like
call in Kite and be like, Kite, get your butt in here.
yeah.
We need a male voice.
Crunch, we need a male voice here. Yeah.
I
Let me
hate
update the
toxic
question.
masculinity, and I hate when I see, like young boys being taught these things because it's so damaging and it's so hard to fight
Yeah.
it.
I
And
yeah.
men are just as emotional as women. You can cry and be real with yourself. You don't toxic masculinity is trash, and the fact that anyone gets brought up this way breaks my heart to begin with.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'll say like I like when guys like talk about how they feel. I feel like it's
yeah.
necessary.
I can't handle
um,
people not talking about how they feel. Like I
I
just because
mm,
I can see it in their heart of hearts, and I want to just like shake it out of them. But it's been
it,
ingrained in them
mm,
so long not to talk, and it's sad.
it's human. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
All
think
right. Sorry, I'm
I
just
think the best thing to do
popping that on.
would be finding the bravery in you to start the dialogue. Just find a time where there's no, because it's not going to be an easy conversation for you. It's going to take time,
Hmm.
and you're going to probably struggle with opening up about this, because learning how to open up about emotions is a very hard thing to do, especially since you won't really know how to navigate your emotions to begin with. So just make sure that there's no, like, you're going to the movies or something in 30 minutes. Like, make sure that there's no requirements, and that you both are free and can sit down and just start the dialogue. And even if the dialogue is messy and you're fumbling over your words, like, I guarantee you your partner will be able to pick up the pieces, because having emotions is human, and I think anyone would want you to be human, you know?
Right.
It's pog to show emotion.
Pog,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's very pog.
I think one of the things to look about is, yes, we talk about toxic masculinity and this idea that men need to be stoic and men need to be strong and men, all these things that are just like very weird concepts to have out there, right? Because when you think of, when I hear from most people who talk about like things that they're attracted to or things they find like hot in a partner, attractive in a partner, one of the biggest things is communication, right? One of the biggest things is like someone being sensitive to their emotions and being able to discuss that stuff. So
Exactly.
I think it's a very false perception perpetuated by toxic masculinity in thinking that men shouldn't show emotion. Now the concept here is this person was brought up with that, which is, that's a socialized thing that most people of any gender see, is that, men are supposed to be strong, and like that's just something
boys
that we
don't
see
cry.
often, right? Yeah, exactly. So super unhealthy things like that, right? How do I start the conversation? That's the thing. If you're not sure, communication, even about being unsure, is important, right? You can say to someone, look, you don't have to be the most confident a person who's put everything together before you talk about it. It's totally fine to figure things out with another person, right? To go to your partner and say, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I was never really good at expressing myself, and I don't really know how to do it the right way, but I feel like there's some things that I want to talk to you about, or I want to try to do better about it, and I'm hoping that we can talk about it and figure it out. And yeah, I think your partner would appreciate that. I feel like most people 100%. Do, right?
Yeah. I just got a response from Crunch.
Okay.
I feel like it's very similar in a way. But yeah, because Crunch was saying like, I guess in a guy's perspective, do it slowly. He said don't make it like a big event in a way, like just don't dump everything on somebody at once.
Yeah.
But I guess that could be like, yeah, with anyone too, right? Because it's like, you don't want to like dump like a bunch of like things on somebody at once, like regardless, right? Or
sweats, because I definitely am the kind of person that just says, hey, you see this jar of emotions I haven't talked about? Breaks it on the floor. There you go.
Yeah, it's ultimately why therapy is something that's good for most people, even if people don't know about it. A lot of people, I think, don't have experience with therapy, and they think like, oh, therapy is just for people that are going through really bad things, or people that
for everyone.
People that are struggling with this or that. No, like therapy is something that's incredibly helpful. Always look and see if your medical coverage like will cover it, if your insurance covers it, and if they do, consider seeking out therapy just to see if it's something you need. But in this situation, I think talking to a professional about this kind of situation, and that's the problem. You go like, I have a really hard time expressing my emotion, like discussing my emotion. Can you help me? Like, I'm trying to learn about how to do that better. And therapists have tools for getting into why that might be, and sometimes talking about stuff and getting into your upbringing, getting into what really made you feel like you needed to repress that, can be the kind of stuff that really helps. So that way, honestly, you are, for lack of better words, when you're emotion dumping, because it's kind of opening the floodgates, you're doing it with a professional and not putting all of that on your partner, which can be really overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crunch was just telling me one more thing too. He was saying that if it's like brought up, I guess like if the topic is related, like you could bring it up, but then but don't just like
casually leeway into it kind of thing.
Casually kind of go into like dumping everything, I guess. Like if it's on topic, sure. Because it's related, I guess, if from a guy's perspective, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah. I think the key If you were here last week, you saw it. If you're here this week, you're seeing it. The key is communication. Right?
Communication. I'm gonna get like an animation of this being done, like the SpongeBob meme with the rainbow in between his hands, and then it just says communication, and I'm just gonna start popping that everywhere. Like, there you go. Take it again.
Yeah, but it's true. You know, it's one of those things that I understand. I think it's something that should be addressed because I think a lot of men struggle with this, right? I think a lot of men really struggle with the idea that you're told what masculinity is and you're told that, you know, don't be emotional. But it's extremely unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right?
It can run really deep in more than just emotions with toxic masculinity. Like, people don't tend to really realize how far it gets ingrained, but in concepts of, oh, the man has to lead the house, the man has to have the bigger paying job, the man can't rely on their partner. Like, these behaviors run far deeper than just, hey, don't cry. So earlier in chat, someone asked, well, what if the masculinity isn't toxic? And I went to respond, and then I realized that this runs way deeper than I could answer in a quick short message, which is why I kind of wanted to quick bring it up. I am definitely so I'm a more submissive kind of person. I like dominating personalities. I am hetero, which means dominating male personalities are nice. But that doesn't mean I like masculinity in terms of toxic masculinity. An important line there is knowing that you can be a strong and confident male and still cry and still depend on others and still have moments where all you want to do is hug a plush teddy bear and curl in a bed for a few hours. Like, you don't have to be this big manly man 24/7. You just have those moments of, hey, I'm confident, hey, I'm reliable, and that's cool, great, awesome, good for you. But you don't have to be like John Wayne in a Western movie from the 70s, you know what I mean?
Ideal masculinity kind of stuff.
Like, there's more to a personality than just being a cool man. That's just a moment, you know? That's a moment. A glimpse in a myriad of whatever you are, and you can be all those other things too. You don't have to view it as, oh, because I cried, I am now weak boy. That's no, bad. Bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like, yeah, you can still cry, you can still like express yourself. Yeah. And it's okay to rely on people too. Like, hey, I guess, like I said too, yeah, we're all human. So
yeah.
Except for us VTubers. We're VTubers, we're not human.
I'm an anime girl. I don't exist in the real plane.
Yeah, if you wanted, someone says crying is the most manly thing of them all. Yeah, it really is. Like, showing emotion takes strength. I think that's really like, I think it is extremely unhealthy to perpetuate gendered language, such as that's manly or that's womanly, right? Or things like that, because it's not about that. Gender literally means nothing to that kind of stuff. It's about like whether something is strong and balancing everything regardless of gender. Like, everyone should be able to pull strength, but also in that strength is vulnerability. It takes strength to allow yourself to be vulnerable, and it's extremely healthy to do those things, right? Right,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's good for bonding too. Like, this if we're talking relationships, this is what this whole talk has been about relationships, right? If you aren't being vulnerable with your partner, your relationship will suffer for it. So I don't care how masculine you are, you need to be vulnerable with your partner.
You have to, yeah.
If you choose to never be vulnerable, you don't realize the harm you're doing to yourself and to your relationship. Now, you don't have to be like weak and fumbling and crying, but if you think that you're strong all the time, then you haven't probably had a good conversation with your heart of hearts.
Yeah. All right, we ready to take another question?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. This one's a bit longer, so I'll read this. Ever since it dawned on me that I'm submissive, partners have either pretended to be okay and engaged with it until we start dating, and then start to be disgusted by it and seem to almost try training it out of me. In my
Oh.
day-to-day life, I'm successful and competitive, but intimacy-wise, no matter how hard I seem to try and fight it, and partners seem to try and change me, I can't. Due to my history, I don't really know how to reconcile with that part of myself and cannot seem to accept it. Whether that's due to upbringing or how partners have treated it or a combination of both, I am not sure. Any advice or suggestions are welcome in regards to trying to accept or come to terms with that aspect of myself would be greatly appreciated.
Can I take the lead on this one?
Sure.
Thank you. You, my baby. I've related to everything you said up until the being changed part, because I have not ever been in a relationship outside of the one I'm in. But as someone who is super dominating and domineering in my regular life, like, I am extremely confident, headstrong. I'm the first person to stand up and do things. I will yell and kick and do what I need to do. But when it comes to, private time, I'm literally the polar opposite. Like, my personality takes a complete 180. And there's just nothing about that I can do. You are valid. You are valid. No one should be trying to change you. There is nothing wrong with having one of those types of personalities where, on the street, you're this badass motherfucker, and then in beds, you're like, uwu senpai. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, people want that. You just have had the wrong partners. You don't need to change that. Ever. Like, stand by that, because that's literally me. That's literally me. All right.
Yeah.
Mic drop. I'm out.
Yeah.
Nice.
I see some people. I don't always. The forums are anonymous, so if people do want to be like, "Hey, that's my question," or whatever, that's totally good. And if it helps you, I'm really glad. And of course, if you want to ever pop in and update me on a situation, I'm always happy to know how things went, or how situations progress. It's yeah, I would love to know. So feel free to share whatever you want to in the future. Whether someone wants to, say that's my question, or ask a question, you told me this, like, yeah. All right. Yeah. I wonder a lot of things about this question, but I feel like, especially based on like the last question that we had too, like, I feel like it's expected a lot of the time of a women to be submissive. So the fact that you're getting trained out of it or shamed by it, it is making me feel like maybe this is coming from a masculine point of view.
Did they say their gender, or
they did not? They did not. And ultimately, it's not really important. But I just, to touch on this idea of like toxic masculinity that we talked about, if that is at all a part to play, or part at play here, I think it's important again to say that gender doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Oh my god. I just saw that image.
I didn't expect you to see it so fast. Yeah.
That gender shouldn't matter here. I know a lot of the time people think like, oh, it's okay for women to be submissive, but I'm a man, so I shouldn't be submissive. Like, I have to be strong, and there's that, right? Like, that none of that is valid, right? Like, gender means nothing.
Literally, it means absolutely nothing.
To whether you want to be submissive or dominant. And the other thing is, it's also okay to not do that. I know that there's a lot of talk when it comes to like sexual conversation about like whether people are tops or bottoms or submissive or dominant or this or that, and like either way there should be no pressure one way or the other for you to be anything other than you, and to do just feel comfortable with yourself. That's really the only thing that's important. How do you be okay with it? Get out of unhealthy relationships.
Yeah. I was going to say, if anybody's like shaming you regardless, and if they're supposed to be close to you, then that's not nice of them.
Yeah, that's not okay. And honestly, in this day and age, whether you're male or not, there should be nothing wrong with being submissive. But we all love our dominating office ladies Tane, Tane, how are we still having this conversation? If someone is shaming you for being submissive, kick them where the sun doesn't shine and run, because they're bad. They need to learn.
They're gonna learn.
They're gonna learn today.
They're gonna be educated at this stream. No.
Just tie them to a chair and play this VOD on loop for 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I think communication is important, but if the person who wrote this is here, or anyone is struggling with this, right? Because I know there's a lot of male identifying people or more masculine identifying people who may be afraid of exploring being submissive. It's okay. It's also okay to be afraid. It's also okay to feel uncomfortable. Those are natural feelings, but it's not healthy to tell yourself that you can't be, right? Like, it's a natural process. We go through things, accepting new things about ourselves or exploring new things about ourselves. Like, that happens all the time. Again, communication. Just try to talk to a partner about it or whatever it is that you might want to explore. But yeah, like anything, like the kink conversation we had earlier, sometimes things are going to work out and sometimes things are not going to work out for people's compatibility, right? Now, you might have a submissive side that you wanted to explore, but your partner may not have a dominant side that they are interested in exploring at all. So obviously it's hard to be submissive without someone who is going to agree to be dominant, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of it, right? Is looking for that and exploring that and seeing, what you can do there, is a big part of it. But advice or suggestions in regards to trying to accept or come to terms with the aspect of yourself is you're valid, right? I have met tons of people, and again, I don't know the gender of this person, but I've met tons of people, regardless of gender, that are submissive and really enjoy being able to embrace that part of themselves. Because there's other people who enjoy being dominant, right? And ultimately what it happens, and I've talked about this so many times, like this is kind of where it fits into where I enjoy being dominant and where it really like strikes a chord for me, is most doms like being of service. Most doms like being someone that makes other people feel good, or other people be able to live out their fantasy, or whatever it might be. Most doms are people pleasers, I find. And that's just, that's kind of what it is. It's a mix of the confidence to be dominant, knowing that you want to make someone else happy. So it's knowing that, right? That most people who are in that dominant headspace are wanting to make other people happy. And if you can find a partner who is there, that's something to throw out there. Also, be upfront about it, right? Like, be upfront that you're, either submissive or a submissive leaning switch or whatever it might be, right? Like, try to explore that aspect of yourself and see what you can do. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else?
I feel like that was like well put together. Yeah.
Yeah, that covers it.
Yeah. How do you open up to your partner about wanting the submissive one? Is there a good way to start that conversation so it's not so sudden? Again, communication. I think the golden starter for anything is just, hey, I want to talk to you about something, right? Like, I want to talk to you about something, and you can be honest about, like, I've been nervous about how to talk to you about this. I haven't known the right way to talk to you about this, right? And that kind of breaks the tension and it breaks the ice. And usually they come back with, okay, well, you can tell me, it's okay. Like something that hopefully will allow you to feel better. That's sort of the way. Heart. Yeah, it's okay before talking about the hard stuff to talk about, hey, I want to talk to you about hard stuff, so can you make me feel better about it, right? Like that's a natural part of it, and that's fine. You don't just have to be like, hey, so I wanted to tell you that I want to be submissive. You don't have to start the conversation like that, right? And I would recommend you don't start the conversation like that. I would recommend you introduce it as I wanted to talk to you about something that's kind of important to me, and I haven't known how to talk to you about it, because it sets the stage, right? Of, oh, like, now I understand how my partner wants to talk to me about something that's been bothering them, or I need to be more attentive, or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, that's perfectly said. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Communication.
Communication. I'm about to pin that to my avatar.
Yeah.
yeah. How are we doing?
Communication.
Can we do a couple more, or how are we
Yeah,
feeling?
I'm good. I'm
I'm
fine.
good. I'm
You
good.
good?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. I want to, just make sure you let me know if we're up on a time limit or something for you.
Not really. I mean,
Mhm.
I'd like to not wait till the sun rises, but we got a few hours until then.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Okay, let me see. All right, here's one. I'm
Oh,
curious
no.
to hear your take
I'm
on it.
scared. I'm scared.
I heard a chuckle there. So
Yeah.
I am attracted to my best friend's sister, and for the past few years, I have done my best to be normal around her and make sure that I haven't overstepped myself as a friend, and I've tried my best to always be helpful to her and the family. Any advice on how to approach the situation, or should I even try? I don't wish to jeopardize my best friend and my friendship, as well as my friendship with the sister.
Ooh,
This is the bestie territory.
that's ooh.
Um,
It depends on many factors.
yeah. I think the first thing that came to mind is how big of an age gap are we talking? Was probably the first thing that came to my mind in the context here.
Ooh, the thing is, like, for friend's sister, like, I know we don't really want to think about like gendered things, but I don't. Usually, guy stuff gets pretty messy. We're like, well, I guess yeah, there's a lot of, I don't
Yeah.
know, because it's like, oh, stay away from my little sister. I don't know, like that.
Yeah, right? Like,
Oh, I just assumed older sister.
Oh, sorry, was it older sister? Oh, I don't.
I don't know.
I just assumed.
We
Was
don't
it
know.
specified?
We don't know.
Oh,
We don't
shit.
know.
Oh,
My brain
man.
was hearing words that don't exist.
Yeah.
A little sister could be even scarier of a conversation.
I don't know if it's older
that makes
sister,
the age
younger
question not
sister.
scarier.
I don't know the
Oh.
age. I don't know any of that. But assuming that nothing is of
Marina
extremely
smiley.
questionable, younger by 4 years.
Can we get your age as a ground line, sir?
Younger by 4 years at the age of 18 is different from the age at 30, right? Like,
Right.
I think that's part of it. 28.
Okay.
That's not bad. Okay.
Okay,
That's
that's more reasonable.
acceptable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry for making you have to spill private information, but we were all panicking. We were like,
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, someone want to tackle this first?
Oh man, I feel like with like family dynamic stuff, because it's like, man, it would get awkward, I guess, depending on like how close you are with like the best friend and the sister.
well, I guess
Or-
like when you think about it, like number one, you have to weigh in. We talked about this earlier with relationships, right?
Mhm.
With when you get in relationships and you risk friend groups getting broken and things like that.
Mhm.
Well, you're meddling with an entire family at this stage, which
Yeah.
shouldn't be a guaranteed no. I mean, there have been relationships that have worked out. It just
Mm.
you have to be aware of the fact that it's going to get far messier than other ones. I would hope that the parents view you as a family friend and you have a good relationship with everyone in the family, which could work to their benefit and your benefit, but equally it could turn on your head just as bad.
Kite's like, oh,
Oh, whoa.
in chat, yeah.
I think if you really, really care for this person, right? Like this kind of situation is one where the ground line comes down to just how much you want this relationship and how much you're willing to risk for it, because you are taking risks with that. That's for sure.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's impossible. I mean, it's a healthy age difference. This is someone you know. It's just it's tied in with your best friendship and their entire family. So it's
Mhm.
not going to be this clean cut if things go sideways kind of deal, you know? Marina, Mum, would you like to take it from here? Pass the baton?
I think Marina's amused. I don't know.
I'm
Marina's just eating popcorn, watching, going, I'm not getting involved. This ain't my question.
I see the smiley face at the end. Yeah.
No, I think the smiley face at the end is because I think it's an extremely complicated situation that I felt like I didn't know enough about, but it's just like yeah, on the surface does it seem like it's a bad idea? Yes, but I think it kind of depends on a number of factors, right? Like what is your
How long have you
relationship
known
with the
them?
sister? Do you have a relationship with the sister? Are you friends? Or are you just like, damn, my friend's sister's hot? Like,
Oh, God.
is it just
Yeah.
that? Like,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it a
yeah,
matter
yeah.
of like, why? Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because if it's a matter of like literally
yeah.
like, damn, I've always thought my friend's sister was hot. Like, that's one thing.
Mm.
Or is it like, wow, I've really gotten to know them and we get along really well and we have a lot in common and like there's actual substance? That's different, right?
Yeah. And for
And-
all you know, your
Mm.
friend could give you their blessing. Like,
Mm.
until communicated properly, you don't really know. But once you start down that path, there's not really going to be any looking back.
Yes, and you have to think about what your relationship with that friend is like too. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. Did you specify your gender? Did we get if you would like to?
I
Just
feel
to
like it
be
would be a very different dynamic depending on like what's happening, I guess. Or
based on
Mhm.
perceived things. Like I'm
yeah.
curious. Is the sister? Oh, that's another
That's
question.
a valid question. Is the sister single?
Oh, I never even thought about that.
Ow! That hurts to laugh. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I just was so dumbfounded by the fact that none of us thought about that.
Oh.
I'm a male, and yes, the sister is single. Best friend is
Best
male.
friend is
Okay,
male.
okay.
Okay,
That
because
kind of puts.
usually, depending on like, for the best friend, if they would be like, "Hey, stay away from my sister," or like, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, what is
But-
it? There's a number of factors. Like, are they close? Because sometimes you have siblings that are close, and yeah, it might be like, that's really weird. I don't want you to do that. And then other times it could be like, they're not very close at all. And what, your friend's sister does is something your friend doesn't really care about, right?
Mhm.
I would assume that if your best friend, if you were best friends with them, they may have already started to pick up on the idea that you like them. Because I would assume the times that you're running into his sister, you're usually with him.
Right.
So there's a
Yeah.
good chance he may have an inkling of this to begin with.
Yeah.
So I would say if you truly care for them and you really want this, I would start there. Maybe communicate with your friend and just kind of like loosely be like, hey, I've got feelings and I'm on the fence because I care about our friendship and I also care about my friendship with them. And SpongeBob communication here. You're gonna have to communicate with a lot more people than just you and the sister to make this
Yeah.
happen, but that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah. Simplicity is
Yeah.
everyone is pretty tight knit. Okay, so that is another factor too, is like in my IRL friend groups and stuff that I've had in the past, there have been instances where there are multiple siblings in a same friend group. And if you are in a friend group where you have your own friendship and relationship with the sister, as well as, the brother, your best friend, that kind of is less of a potential issue for someone, right? Does that make sense? Like, you know what I mean? You'll ever been in a situation like that where you have friends who are like siblings, and so you have your own relationship with both of them, as opposed to only knowing one as like the sibling of your friend?
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like what it is here too. Like, if you only know her as like your friend's sister, then that's one thing. But if you have your own friendship with her, then it doesn't really matter as much because they both exist within your social friend group or whatever. Like, you have your own relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's one thing I would put out there too. do some introspection. Think about yourself. Think about the kind of person you are, and think about how you have portrayed yourself to your best friend. Because sometimes when we have best friends, depending on how long we know them or how comfortable we are very, very open about the good parts of us and sometimes the bad parts of us or the questionable parts of us as we're growing up or whatever it might be. And the thing is to think, if there is anything, you know, that you may have done, or the way you talk about women or people or whatever it might be, things that your best friend knows about you, and you are like, hey, I'm interested in your sister, remember that they are going to go back and think about all of those things. Right? Because they know you in that really close way. So that's just something to remember, is instantly what's probably going to happen is they are going to think about all of the worst things that they can think about you, and it's going to scare them. So what I would hope is that there aren't a lot of bad things that they have, but I want you to think that through, right? If you've known them for 10 years and they've seen a lot of you and they've seen you grow and change, like there's a tendency that we have when we get into that defensive headspace to start thinking of the worst. So I think it's a good thing to just kind of think of going in. And you can also preemptively address that stuff if you know that there is anything that might be questionable in that situation. I don't know. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so too. I guess when it comes
pretty clean cut.
I guess when it comes to like family stuff and everything, I've never encountered, I guess, something like that. I've seen it in movies and stuff, I guess, is the thing. And usually, I guess because movies and stuff, for dramatic effect, it's usually messy, but or
Right.
TV shows and sitcoms and stuff. But yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think it's a complicated situation. I think there's a lot of different pieces, a lot of different moving pieces, and I would say again, communication. It's the most important thing. If you have I would say this, whether or not you have your own kind of friendship and relationship with a sister that's strong, I would talk to your friend. If you consider them one of your best friends, I would talk to them regardless. Be like, hey, I wanted to bring something up to you. It's not real easy for me to say, but I felt like it was important for me to tell you, and then tell them, right?
Mm.
I feel like I've been getting really close with whatever their name is, your sister, and I feel like I've started to like them, and I wanted to let you know because you're my friend, and I want to communicate that with you. That's what I would do. That's what that's what I would start with. And just see how they feel. Yeah. But ultimately know that they may tell you, that's weird. That's weird, dude. I don't want you to do that. And then you have to deal with that, right? Well, what do you do? Right?
I guess it's the whole like rejection thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you respect that opinion? And do you say, all right, well, my friend doesn't want me to do that, so I'm not going to do it? Or do you talk about it more? You know, like you have to kind of sit with that, like what you're going to do. Because ultimately it's going to be rough if they are not okay with it, and then you try anyway, and the sister is okay with it, and then you're creating a rift, right? A family rift and friend rift and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah.
I just saw what Shimon said. It's the friends like Ross, Monica, Chandler problem.
My sister, yeah. Yeah. Think of the hydrate.
Oh, hydrate, yeah. Oh, that's good.
Wawa.
Yeah, drink. All right. Yeah, I had someone just mention something about when we were talking about the masculinity stuff, and I want to clarify about something that it's not saying that there's anything wrong with any individual regardless of gender for wanting to withhold emotion. It's the idea that I want to everyone has the choice ultimately to be as open as they want to. If someone is just a more private person, that is okay. I'm not shaming anyone, and no one should feel shamed for being a private person. It's the idea that you have the right to be private. You should not feel like you have to be private. That's the toxic masculinity, if that makes sense. It's the feeling like you need to be private. You cannot share those emotions, or that's bad, right? There's a huge difference there, I think. So I just want to make sure that that comes across, is that I'm not saying every single person needs to wear their heart on their sleeve and every single person needs to be like extremely forthright and open all the time with everything, because it's okay and valid to take it at your own pace. Yeah. But all right. Okay, we do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all having fun? You enjoying these?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
being
I'm
happy.
I'm enjoying myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay. Let's see.
Sorry, I drank and I was trying not to burp.
No worries. Okay. Here's one for NTR November.
Sorry, what?
Is cheating acceptable in a relationship? Like even when it's consenting? I think it's painful to watch someone do stuff to your partner that you can do.
Ooh. Is that the whole question, or?
Yeah, I kind of
feel like they
paraphrased. Let me
already-
read it exactly.
Okay.
Is cheating acceptable in a relationship? I don't like it, even when it's consenting. I think it's painful to watch someone do stuff to your partner you can do.
I feel like they already said how they feel.
Right. Well, I think they're just trying to get our opinion on.
Yeah.
So, is cheating acceptable in a relationship? Even when it's consenting. I think that's the key there, right? Is it cheating? And Venerable Tuber says, is it cheating if it's consensual? Which I would say no, it's not cheating.
Happy NTR November.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think the key word with cheating is cheating implies that one of the two party members are not aware and or was not okay with it. And in my opinion, that's never okay. Yeah, no, because no. But if it's consented, like if both partners are like, yeah, I'm cool with this, and it's an open relationship, or it's like a, hey, I like the idea of you sleeping with other people kind of thing. Like, while I may personally not be cool or Gucci with that, if that's what you two want, then well, go do you. Happy bunnies, go do what you want to do, baby. That's fine as long as both partners agree. Like that's the key. I would not consider it being consenting cheating. I would say also in that, so in the example of there being a third person, right? So it's a
Right.
two-person relationship, and it's not an open relationship, and that person is going and sleeping with someone else. I would personally feel that the third party member must also know about the fact that you are in a relationship and this was consented prior for me to consider it okay. But that's just me.
I agree.
That's just me. I'm all about communication. I'm personally very monogamous in my relationship, but that's just how I am, and that's how we are, and that's something we communicated and consented to. And there was never any complications, you know. So if you're in a relationship where someone in your party was like, yo, I want to introduce another partner to sleep with, it has to be something everyone is on board with, including a third additional. If there's even one person not 100% on board, then I would say that's a hard pass.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm also monogamous as well, so I feel like it's like, oh boy. Yeah.
We need a wider range of hosts for this question.
I have plenty to talk about with this, but I'm happy to let you.
I have a story
first.
too. I have a story, but you go first.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I have been in open relationships before. I am the person that is okay with my partner being sexually open with other people. And I will talk about why that is and what is the situation there. For me, I think sexuality and emotion and romance and love are all extremely different things to me. I am someone who is okay being in a relationship. For me, it's all about communication, right? So if I have a partner and we both see eye to eye on being sexually open, I'm cool with that. If we don't, I'm okay with not doing it. But I am the opposite of what you hear when you hear like the term polyamory. I'm not polyamorous. I only want to like have an emotional connection with one person. I want to have a partner, a singular partner that I have an emotional connection with, that I'm in love with, that I'm able to, be affectionate with and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to sex, I feel like it's just very different to me. It's like it comes down to, for me, like I don't have ownership over them. And not only that, but I think it's hot to watch them express their sexual desires, whether they involve me or not, right? That's kind of the way that I see it personally. Is it okay for a partner to be sexually open? I would say yes. I think it's absolutely okay. And I know a lot of people that are in situations like that, right? Especially when I feel like what I see the most often is situations where I interact with a couple or something that are like, I've been in this one relationship for my whole life. Or like, we've been in a relationship for 7 years or whatever it might be. And it's sometimes it comes to that thing where the, two people talk, and one of the outcomes they sometimes come to is like, do you want to explore things with other people? And they come to like a consensual agreement on that. That's something that I see when it comes to me interacting with couples, I guess, because I've interacted with a few couples in my lifetime. But it always, the keyword there is that it's always consensual, right? It's not cheating if it's consensual by my definition, and I feel like this is pretty widely accepted. Cheating to me is when you knowingly break the boundaries of your relationship, right? If you've talked about something, or the implied boundaries if you haven't talked about it, right? Well, technically we never talked about if I can't sleep with someone else, so it's okay, is not a valid mindset. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's typically socially assumed that when you're in a relationship, unless spoken about, there's a monogamous commitment there, right?
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I just kind of got a little sad because it sounded like the person already said how they felt in the question. So I was like, oh no. But I think it's fine for people to be sexually open, and as long as like if they are like polyamorous, or like you said, for like how you feel too, like that's completely fine as long as it's discussed ahead of time.
Like there's so many different forms of sexuality, and like whether people are aware of it or not everyone is monogamous, and that's okay. It just needs to be communicated. That's literally all it is. It's no different from waking up and being like, hey, I don't eat meat, so please don't put meat in my breakfast. Like you just tell them, so that, you know what I mean? Like it's so simple. Just to at the start of any relationship, these kind of things should be one of the first things brought up, because the goal is for everyone in that relationship to be happy. And just like how we said literally at the start that every relationship changes form, and there's no real testament on how it should be done. Like every relationship is different. This is one of those areas. Every person's different. And it just needs to be communicated first. If it's ever communicated after an act, that's no, because that shows that someone's willing to hide truths, and that shouldn't be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to say real quick, sorry, Allura, thank you so much for the sub for 7 months. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yay, subbies!
Let's go. I was gonna say, so I thought about a story actually, but I won't get too into it. I knew a couple from a few years ago. They were trying to, oh gosh, they were trying to do cuckolding, like kind of thing.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I
don't know what that term is thrown around a lot, and I don't know what it means, and I'm scared of Google.
It's thrown around, it's misused a lot, but do you want to explain?
The thing is, like, okay, so cuckolding is the normie term, NTR is the Dojin term.
Oh, okay, it's the same thing?
Yeah, yeah, it's the same
Okay,
thing.
all right, I'm following now. I understand.
Yeah.
The
So basically,
yeah.
well, I guess for the definition, like a man whose wife is sexually like unfaithful, but he takes pleasure in like watching her, I guess, like get it on
Yes.
with other people, kind of
Okay,
thing.
It's
okay.
That's like the
it's
more
the
traditional
fantasy
way,
it's
I
the
guess. Yeah.
fantasy of your partner cheating on you, but since
Hmm.
it's a consensual fantasy, it's not actually cheating.
That's
Yeah.
consensual, so it doesn't seem like a
Well,
problem,
yeah, yeah. Well,
right?
it's the fantasy, right? The fantasy of
Right.
it is some people
Hmm.
really like to live into the fantasy of like my
People go a little bit
partner's
too far with
cheating on me,
fantasies.
even though they're not cheating, right?
Yeah.
That's different than the idea of like being sexually open or yeah, the
Got it. Okay, I see. I'm
yeah.
following. I'm following.
Yes.
Thank you, senseis.
Yay. So the thing is, like, I knew this happened like a few years ago, and I got to hear it on both sides of the couple. And one of the parties was very unhappy with it, and it did not end well. So
Ooh.
even though they both consented to it, the other party caught feelings for the bull.
Uh,
Do you know who the bull is?
big, big,
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, the person who was doing things with
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So the woman caught feelings for the bull, and it yeah, it did not end well for the couple, even though they did consent. So they did not talk about it enough.
Ooh.
But because I got to hear it from both sides, so I was like, oh man, like
it sounds like there
it
were
was
issues in that usually things like that, or
yeah.
there's
Well,
issues in the
well,
relationship
yeah.
that aren't talked
Well, that
about.
was well, that was the thing because like they trusted me like as a friend. They were telling me everything too, and I was like, oh shoot, like I hope everything goes well. But I felt very sad because I feel like when it happens in real life and like that happens, it just made me feel very sad for them. Was like the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I like NTR in Dojin, but when it happens in real life, I got very sad for like
Yeah,
both of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like
Mhm.
the concept is one of those things that like I guess virtually it can be very attractive, but like in reality, I would find that as something that could go sideways too easily because of like what happened in this case, like friendships, friendships
Mhm.
and feelings, and you can't really predict
Yeah.
feelings in love. And I'm pretty sure what's the I don't know what my sexuality's exact name is. I forget it all the time. It's the one where it's like you can't really get aroused unless you like love the person.
Oh,
Demi.
like
The
Demi? Demi?
Yes, thank you. I'm so bad
Mhm.
with all these terms. I'm very bad with names.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Um
Yeah.
and so the concept I guess seems appealing, but since for me like love is everything, it
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like I feel like that could just be a very dangerous risky like area. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's
Yeah.
just the way I feel like because of the way I am.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Generally,
yeah.
demi people aren't going to be interested in being a part of something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. The thing that I guess for like the question and everything, because the person was talking about like consensual cheating, I so I guess you could, but talk about it very thoroughly is the thing.
Yeah.
I man, I just feel so sad for that couple that I knew. So it was like, oh, even
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Ultimately, there must have been other issues there in that relationship, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. They must have not told me everything, obviously, but I was just like, oh man, that sucks.
yeah, because it doesn't just happen like that. You don't just randomly like get feelings for the person you're, partaking in that fantasy with. It's like there's got to be issues in
You
Mhm.
that
had to have already had
relationship,
gaps in the initial one.
and
Something that made
yeah.
that fill the void.
Was it a matter of like,
Yeah.
hey, I really would like to see you sleep with somebody else, and they were like, I have someone I can think of, and then there was already history there. Like, who knows?
Mm.
Well, I don't know. I don't know
Who
if you
know?
know. Like,
Who knows? Yeah.
yeah. There's a bunch of
Mhm.
different like scenarios. I think when everything is healthily done, uh, there's not an issue with it. But also, sometimes it's healthy for things to just be a fantasy, right? If
Mhm.
this is a
Yeah,
fantasy
that's
for
the thing,
someone,
right? Yeah.
if this is a fantasy for someone, it can be someone where it can be something where they have a relationship with their partner where sometimes their partner like tells them a sexy story, like a made up story about like, you want to know what I did when you were at work the other day, like, and that's the extent of it. It doesn't have to be an actual thing. It can just be
Mhm.
like some kind of like fantasy that gets like, talked about or whatever, and sometimes that's as much as it should go in certain situations. It's
Mhm.
all about what's comfy. Communication.
Communication.
If you like pina colada, I'm getting caught in the rain. That whole song, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. God,
I
what
like
is that
that
song?
song.
The song in actuality is about two people trying to cheat on each other.
Yeah,
And then they just end up
are.
back together because they
Yeah,
cheated
they
on
end
each
up-
other with
yeah,
each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And they meet up and they're like, oh, it's you. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Like, instead of the reality of like, what the fuck?
They're both
Yeah.
bad people.
Yeah.
I feel like I like to personally think the point of the song is that people get stuck in these rotations, especially in long-term marriages, where you're just these righteous dum-dums who just kind of do their daily routine and you want to be someone different.
Yeah.
Mm.
And instead of learning to open up and try to do those differences with the person you're with, the common thing is,
Yeah.
you know, find someone more adventurous, find someone who makes me feel alive again, when in reality,
Right.
the person you're with probably can be those things.
Yes.
But maybe I'm just innocent brain and the song is about cheating and liking it. I don't know.
I think it's an NTR song.
It's an NTR song.
Let me be my baby. Let me be baby. I just want to be happy baby.
Oh my God.
I also like pina coladas. They're tasty.
Yeah, and getting
Oh,
caught in the rain.
yum, 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 yum. Getting caught in the rain.
I do really like the rain, and I'm not into yoga, and
No.
I have half a brain.
What about making love at midnight? The dunes.
That doesn't sound too bad. Kite, where are you? Oh crap, it's 2 a.m. Never mind. Tomorrow, rain check.
Oh my gosh. The song is about Wait. The song is about things that are not pina coladas? Question mark?
Kite, damn.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know.
But I guess that's our answer for that one.
Yeah. I think it's just it's something that communication is extremely important in, and it's not for everyone. It's okay. This is what I'll say
Yeah.
though. It's like, I think whenever NTR or cuckolding or anything gets brought up like
Mhm.
that, sometimes people really freak out and they're just like, oh, I hate that. I don't understand how anyone could be okay with that. And again, it's the understanding that it's not cheating because it's a consensual fantasy, right? No one saying, oh, I like NTR, or like, oh, I like, cuckold fantasies. Those people aren't people who are saying I like cheating, right? It's very
Yeah.
different. It's extremely different. And
Mhm.
even people who partake in those kind of fantasies or those kind of kinks, and they do it well, they're people who communicate like so much. Yeah. So that's just one of the things that I want to put out there is like, before people get
Mhm.
super like judgmental
Yeah.
on any kink that's not harmful, it's like really understanding it too. Understanding that at the end of the day, the NTR kink for people is a consensual fantasy. And that's really all it is.
I like NTR because the art is nice. I think the artists get bored drawing vanilla, so then they draw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, what was I gonna say? Oh, usually NTR is like hot housewives. So yeah.
Yeah. It's true. It's
Mhm.
it's such good like milfy art most of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I do enjoy me some NTR content. All right. Let me see. What else we have? Lots of questions. Yeah, I guess some of these I try to go into the more interesting questions because I feel like some of these are just like ones that we understand. Like, does body shape matter for who is your partner? And the answer is it depends on different people's interest and different people's likes.
Depends on preferences.
You
I
know, it
guess, and
depends
all,
on
yeah.
preferences and things like that. But at the end of the day, people are gonna like you for you, right?
Mhm.
And find someone who likes you for you, right? Like, ultimately, when I see a question like that, and it comes down to even the other stuff we talked about with like the gender dysphoria, it's like, or the orientation thing too, right? Like the idea of like, oh well, what if I'm gay and they're straight? Like any of these questions where it comes down to like, is someone gonna like me for X? It's like, if they don't like you, it's okay. someone else will. You know,
there's also a lot of cases where people have types, but they'll fall in love outside of those types and be in
True.
long-term
Oh,
relationships
yeah.
that aren't dependent on those
True.
types. Those types are more like the cherry on the top of the cake, but you still love the cake. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't know.
Wow, cake.
Cake.
Mm,
Cool.
cake.
But partner, love.
Cake.
I'll take that. Wait, are we talking about? We're talking about different cakes, aren't we?
I don't know. Serve me some and we'll find out.
Strawberry cake or
Yes.
booty cake?
So, I mean, either way, I'm eating. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say either way, it's delicious. Or no. Or no.
oh my gosh. Let me see what else we can ask. Best sexual position for both people to get best pleasure equally.
Oh boy. I think that's different for everyone, depending on preferences, though.
Guess what the
Yeah.
best answer is?
Communication.
I think how the green and the rainbow is.
The green is gone. It's kind of terrifying. But you know what? It's all right. It's there. It's there.
SpongeBob has a bunch of holes in it.
He's seen some things, but he's going to talk about how he's seen some things. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I see questions like that, like there's gonna be tons of things that people ask. What's the best position? What's the best way to do this? What's the best way? What's where is it? Hold on, wait. What's the best way to get a girl off? Because I've never done that before, and like I think it might be nice to be with a girl sometime. And well, you know what the answer is? The answer is fucking communication. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. The best position, the best way to get someone off, no matter what it is, it's just talking to someone, finding out what they like, right? It's a big like amalgamation of like what are people's physical preferences, right? What kind of stimulation do they like? Because there's no one right answer, right? It's kind of like when people ask me for my advice on like health and wellness adult toys, right? Like when people are asking me advice, it's like, well, one, it depends what you're working with, right? It depends on your bits. Like, are we talking vagina? Okay, well then, do you prefer internal stimulation? Do you prefer clitoral stimulation? Everyone is different, right? Some people like different things. Some people like different combinations of things. Some people, there's like the physical aspect. There's the whole mental aspect. Like we were talking about kinks and things like that, right? Some people really like to feel submissive in those situations. Some people don't want to feel submissive, right? Some people just want to feel cared for, and they don't want any kind of things like that. Some people want to feel submissive, but praised. Some people want to feel submissive and degraded, right? Like you won't know these things. There's no one right answer until you have a conversation and you get to know somebody and you get to learn about what they like and what really does it for them, right? And what they don't like too. It's also an important question. What are your
It's a
turn-offs?
combination of like so many things. Yeah, everyone's individualistic for like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. There was one I saw that we talked about porn already, but like, where is it? It was like, wait. What is the appropriate amount of time to self-love your body? I see people say 5 times for men and 10 times for women a day.
What?
A day?
A day?
I'm sorry.
What?
My reaction. My reaction to that question is just this. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shame your question, but I don't know where you're getting that information from. 5 times a day is certainly okay, but I wonder, like, where do you find the time for that?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
in
if you're really
a,
fast, I guess it could make sense, but
or in a busy adult life, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
right?
I was
Like,
gonna say the refractory period for guys is like really low, unless if you're going at it all day. I guess for I don't know.
yeah. What is the appropriate amount of time to self-love your body? It's different from person to person. Whatever. There isn't really too much. I think the how many times can you come in a day before you die is like I think the limit
hold
or
on, I'm going to
something is
Google.
like yeah, you want to Google that, but it's
I was gonna
literally like
say,
70.
like,
How
It's
many
like
times a day can you come without dying?
I mean,
Is that good?
I mean, for women and stuff, like you can go for a very long time, but
yeah, it's true.
God, they had to write an entire essay before giving me the answer. I guess you could do it 24 times a day, but it becomes painful after that stage.
Yeah.
I mean, I could
That
imagine
seems-
that it would be painful after a long time.
You know what? How about this? Person asking the question, if you have the time, we'd like to hold a science study. So
God.
just journal it down and let us know in a week.
So here's the thing. What you do is you start your own Twitch stream, and if you happen to be a guy, you go into a tent and you make a pancake batter stream, and then you have to present your evidence, okay? Well, I don't know. Hey, it's actually been done on Twitch before. I'm surprised they didn't get banned.
No, really? This happens?
It was very entertaining to watch. They were making pancake batter on. That's all they were doing. They were just making pancake batter.
I'm gonna go on a vacation.
They were seeing how much pancake batter they could make individually. It was a pancake batter contest.
Oh my
And what was the
God.
final answer? Just out of curiosity, what did it end at?
It was, I believe it was one of their mods that won. Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Multiple people were competing?
Yeah.
This was a competition?
I'll tell you what channel it was after. I don't know.
Damn, I want to have a VTuber pancake making contest.
Making pancakes, making pancakes.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, no, the reality of the situation is you're not really going to end up in a situation where you're doing it too much. The only thing is if you find yourself doing that stuff too much, you want to reflect and see if it's an addictive kind of situation.
Yeah.
Because it is
Yeah.
very possible, and a lot of people get addicted to sex. A sex addiction includes things like masturbation.
I was going to say the adult materials at the very first question too. I was thinking about that. If people get too addicted to that,
Right.
because then it leads to too much of that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things. If you find yourself like needing to masturbate like 5, 6, 10 times a day, and it's consuming hours of your life every day, like it might be a thing to look into from an addiction standpoint. Because yeah, it might be a thing that ends up being unhealthy for you. You don't want to end up in situations where you are partaking in anything, but masturbation included, in a way that is impacting your life in a negative way, right? That's kind of the idea of addiction, right? It's something that you feel compulsed to do, almost usually to your detriment, right?
Yeah, and it's taking time away from you and your friends and important duties and like things in your life in general. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been about 3 hours. Do we want to do one more?
Yeah, we
And
can
then
do
we
one
can,
more.
Yeah, we can do one more.
and we'll call it on that, and we'll do some reflective stuff, and then we'll yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, man, I can't make it to the wedding. I'm making pancakes. ... Yeah, that's the exact kind of circumstance we're talking about it being a problem, Kite.
Trying to see if there's any ones that are a little bit different or more situational.
Maybe one where the answer isn't communication.
I thought it was funny because on Twitter, somebody was like, "How dare they do this? Like, how can they get away with this on Twitch?" And then like the streamer's like, "How dare you? We are making pancake batter. How dare you assume anything?"
Oh my God.
It was great.
Okay. I see a lot of people asking similar questions. Um do women ever feel self-conscious like men that they'll be replaced by a health and wellness toy? I know it sounds weird, but I see a lot of men worried that because their pee-pee isn't as big as a phallic fisting device. Okay, I think what the question is saying, do women ever feel self-conscious about their partners using sex toys, and that it will, that they can't I don't know, match up to it, or that they'll be replaced?
I don't know. I encourage it. I don't know.
Well, the sex toy doesn't hold him at night when he cries, so I think I still have some value. Is that a bad answer?
Aw.
Is that a bad answer?
Can
I feel
I-
like that's what my brain would rationalize.
Can I get an Angel Steps body pillow with arms on it to hold me at night when I cry?
Aw.
I got you, BB. But I guess my my comment is I would like to say that no one can get replaced by a sex toy,
Yeah.
because it
That's
doesn't
silly.
matter if the toy does the good pee pleasure. If it's just a toy, I mean, the toy you can't, you know, make. I mean, this is arguable, I'm sure, but you can't go to Disneyland with your toy and ride the Matterhorn and have lovely photos and get a ring for your adult toy that's like, I'm gonna marry you, and then kiss on your wedding day. I mean, you could, but I don't think it'd be nearly as sentimental. I think you'd probably be a little concerned at that stage. You can't have like an emotional an emotional love relationship with the toy. The toy may make very good, yes, but that's all it's going to do, and
Right.
your value is more than I have good pee-pee.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I think
I could have used way better words for that.
I think it's always good to try to not fall into jealousy. I think there's bigger problems in relationships than
Yeah.
when you have people who are jealous of partners looking at porn, or partners, you know, I've heard all kinds of things. I've heard of people that said like they've had partners who wouldn't let them buy sex toys, or partners that wouldn't let them masturbate. I've personally had a partner who was like really hyper jealous about the idea of me like looking at any kind of pornography or anything like that. There's all kinds of weird controlling things that abusive partners can do, and really it's like, I think a lot of the time the partners don't even realize they're being abusive. They just feel self-conscious and they don't know how to like yeah, they don't know how to like manage that. So in the same situation, I think it's important to kind of explore that and communicate. And if you find that you're with someone who's getting jealous, or you find you are getting jealous, that's something that needs to be discussed. But ultimately, like Angel said, no toy is going to replace someone's emotional needs, right? If they didn't have emotional needs, well, then they might not even be with you. They probably wouldn't be with you.
And if your partner has made comments and made you feel to any value like your only redeeming quality is in the bedroom, then that needs to be addressed, because that's not healthy. No relationship should ever be dependent on that.
Yeah,
Ever.
it's like, I mean, a partnership or like relationship, and like it takes many things, right? Not just bedroom stuff.
Yeah.
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 But I feel like I don't know, for guys thinking about, I don't know, like the phallic objects or something. I feel like guys should, I don't know, have more toys too. I don't know, like
Yeah.
yeah, use them. I don't know. Or if you're a pee haver, have pee toy. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have pee-pee toy. Get the pee-pee toy.
But you listen, at the
Marina
end,
sells toys. Marina discount.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
as-
Segue. Yeah.
as much as like people with very very well endowed penises might like as well endowed as someone's penis might be, there are always going to be toys and other things that are bigger and offer different things. It's not a matter of being like jealous regardless of your size or anything like that, but it's acknowledging that it's okay for someone to enjoy a toy. Yeah, the problem usually comes from your pride and self-conscious, being self-conscious about something like that. Like, just communicate, right? Like, and again, at the end of the day, your partner wouldn't want to be with you if that was an issue, right?
Yeah.
But also there are things that you can do that toys just can't do, right? At the end of the day, the human control that you have over your mouth and fingers and body and genitals, all those things, like, those are things that toys cannot do. Also, there's fun combinations. I told a story last week about the idea of someone I knew who put a toy inside them and also had their partner penetrate them at the same time. That's literally like what the best of both worlds, right? Like,
You
it's
get
the
to do
idea,
both, yeah.
yeah, it's the idea of augmenting the sex, not
Also,
replacing
like-
you or you're not enough. It's not about that, right?
Like toys like vibrate and do things like that when the human pee-pee does not vibrate. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're expecting it to be human pee-pee.
The
Right,
human
you
pee
know?
doesn't vibrate?
The human pee-pee does not vibrate. I'm sorry to disappoint you. If Crunch's human pee-pee vibrates, he probably has a hidden motor installed. You might want to get that looked at.
I was gonna say there's the
Mecha Crunch.
They make
Mecha Crunch.
they make like rings that go around the base and are supposed to make the pee vibrate. But yeah. Mecha Crunch. Oh my gosh. I love
But
that.
I feel like for like toys, they can be like enhancers. Like you can use both. Like it's
Yeah.
it's supposed to enhance the experience, or
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of ultimately like what it comes down to. Right? Yeah. All right. Anything else that y'all want to throw out about this, or anything else you talked about might have come to mind, or anything like that?
I feel like sorry.
I have this important thing of pancake batter.
Oh
Thought
my
maybe we could bake together. Do you guys want to bake with me? Here, I'll scoot closer.
That's really
We're making
chunky.
pancakes.
That's really clumpy pancake batter.
I know, I made it myself.
Oh, thank you.
Marina, we've been drinking at your bar. It's morning now.
Oh
Here you
my
go.
god.
There you go. Take a lick.
Oh.
There you go. Yes, we're all tasting my pancake batter on stream. Isn't this great? This is bonding.
I'm lapping it up like a cat. Where's Marina? Someone redeem Marina. Oh wait,
Well,
I
I
have to
got
do
you.
myself. There we go.
Okay.
Oh no! It got on my glasses. Oh no!
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh no!
Oh, the glasses are gone.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
God forbid my
Oh my
pancake
gosh.
batter
Oh no,
got
it
on
got on
Tane.
mine too.
Oh no.
Oh no! Our glasses, they're
Oh,
ruined.
glasses. They're covered in your pancake batter. Oh my
All right, I'm
God.
gonna just leave this right over here on the side on this little table. That's fine. It blends in. You'd never know it's
Wow.
there.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll just leave it there for it'll live at the bar now. It'll just right there on the radiator. That's a good place for it.
We'll add a new
Yeah.
drink that involves it.
Oh my gosh. Chat, you like that? You like that? You like that?
I hope you do. Of course you do. Of course you like it.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I want to thank you both for coming by tonight. I had a blast. I think it was a really
Yay.
it was a really
I
really
had
good
a lot
time.
of fun.
I
I'm sad
know.
it's over.
Yeah, well, I saw people saying part 2. So here's what I want to put out there. If it's your first time here, I do this every Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific. The exception of next week, Cotton requested that we start a couple hours earlier, so we'll be doing 7 p.m. Pacific. But normally we're here at 9 p.m. Pacific. If you are not already, in my Discord, you can join my Discord so you can get notifications for things like that. Opt in the
Join
Rolls
Marina's
channel,
Discord.
and you'll see that.
Do it.
Also here are my socials. It's everywhere that I create content. Yeah, I stream on another website as well. I create content on Twitter and TikTok. You can find all that stuff over my socials. If you follow me on Twitter, and you can see those notifications when I announce like my different things. Next week I will have Cottontail and Powder on with me as my guests. Week after that I'll have Vixoria and Prism, and then Mim and Coconuts. And then after that, Lilybell and another guest that I haven't 100% locked in. But I've been talking to a lot of people about getting people in here, trying to schedule with Numi and Rayo Guigui. Yeah, just I'm really excited about running these streams. And as far as part 2, I would love to have both of you back. If you,
absolutely.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, if you
My
if you'd
schedule's
like to...
open whenever, quite
Hell
literally.
yeah. Okay.
All I
Yeah.
do is play RPGs now, so literally you could just be like, "Hey, are you free?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." And I'll get on the stream.
Fridays
It's that
are
easy
good.
now.
Fridays are good for me, and the weekends are going into the weekends and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as questions, if you asked a question and you didn't get it answered today, what I recommend is, yes, the form is persistent. We do use the same form. It will be reposted, but it'll be the same form. And I normally will kind of prioritize the fresher questions. And then I have the backlog of stuff to go to if we kind of get through everything, or if we have a lot of repeat questions. So what I would say is, if you asked a question that you were really dying to have answered and it didn't get answered, come back next week and ask it next Friday and see if we can get to it then. But I really do appreciate everyone being here. If you came in tonight and it's your first time here and you didn't follow and you had fun, drop a follow. And you can catch me when I do other stuff. I stream typically Wednesday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific time every night. Mostly here on Twitch, sometimes other places. Like I said, check out my socials link and you'll see everywhere I create content. And join my Discord and you'll always get notifications to know where I will be. Yeah. Some cool Black Friday stuff before we go. My merch over at Uwu Market is on sale. Buy one, get one half off. And my merch over at Nyantastic, with my Daki, is on sale, where you can also get some Matane's merch.
Hey.
Yeah. And Angel, you have merch over at Uwu, right? Same place where I do. Yeah. So
I believe the Black Friday code, you can buy merch from multiple people, and it apply to everything. So if there's other VTubers you've been planning on getting merch for, use that code.
Yeah, you can do it.
Nice.
You can do it all in one. My code there is Marina, like my name. And with Nyantastic, there's no code. It's just everything.
Yeah. The code's already applied, or it's already applied. Yeah.
Yeah. So check that stuff out. Yeah, we're gonna go raid. We're gonna go raid a friend of mine. I see she's doing music and I love her to death, and I always like being able to pop in and say hi when I can. But Suko is on, so let's go give Suko some love. Yeah. Suko is
Can
wonderful.
we make the raid message? We've brought the pancake batter.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, so we've brought the pancake batter. All right, there you go. There's one raid message, and then we can also say what's an emote I can use for subs. This kind of looks like pancake batter, right? Here we go. Yeah, feel free to throw whatever emotes you want.
Okay.
There we go. It kind of looks like pancake batter, right? It's kind of yellowy, like
I
yours.
love it.
Anyway, I love you all so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, let's go give Suko some love. All right. Thank you again. If you didn't already follow Tawny and Angel, here are their links. Angel Steps and Tawny Tenshi. Yeah. I love you so much. I'm so happy I had such a good time.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah. All right, bye, chat.
Bye.
Bye.
Behave yourselves.
Don't.